God, I love our little faces.
We're so spooky. It's so dark and scary here in the woods.
It's so scary.
I'm so scared already. I shouldn't have turned the light on.
If you're gonna do the number
15,
if you're gonna
Jeff
do the
killer.
number 15 voice, I'm gonna stop the stream already. I'm gonna prematurely stop, so people don't have to deal with it.
What if that's part of the bit?
If it's
part of the horror story.
I remember. Do you remember the one day we were playing Magic and you couldn't stop doing that voice? Like
Absolutely.
you were stuck in it. Like you literally couldn't stop doing it. It was when we were at that hotel.
I for sure do. It's just one of those voices, you know. Once you're in it, you just can't. You can't really stop.
It's addicting.
It's crack cocaine of an accent. Also, hello, gamers. Ooh.
Hello.
I should probably tell the Discord that we're live.
I already
nicely
did.
done.
I don't know.
So glad someone made a gif of Griffin there.
Oh, of the spooky?
Just dabbing in the woods. Running away from a clown in that episode. It's a good time. Anyway.
Oh, I don't have any clown ones.
I think there's a clown in one of mine. It's fine.
Ooh. How do you feel about clowns?
I think that people pretending they're scared of clowns is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Clowns are fun.
Clowns are lots of fun. They're fun to draw, especially. Hello.
Hi, Depresh.
Welcome to our spooky scary.
Welcome to Scary Stream.
Sorry, I'm sorry you don't feel that way, Depresh. But clowns are a good time.
Yeah, they're fun. Like
clowns, just I mean, history and all that. Clowns were never that scary, but and Stephen King knew this. He was like, the monster turns into a happy clown in between being scary, so that the kids are like, oh, but I love clowns.
Yeah,
and then
even the clown in It, to be perfectly honest, I'm not really that scared of him. Like,
and that was the point.
Yeah, he's just funny. Like, he's just what the fuck's up, kids? And I'm like, yeah.
he's just a bro. And then people were so scared of Tim Curry because Tim Curry's only two versions of his life are super sexy and the most scary thing you've ever seen. So. And if he's not one, he's the other.
Like the one part where he like kind of like sticks his head out from a hole, and he's just like, "Hey!" I'm just like, "That's great. That's funny."
I don't remember what he's sitting in the library, and they're all adults again. And they're all just shaking, and he's just making terrible jokes and going, "Ha ha ha ha!" And I always think of that when people are like, "I'm really scared of clowns." I also once wrote a paper about how clowns. There's the two kinds of clowns in ancient opera and all that, and there's the white clown who's a very like noble sort of gentleman, and the red clown, which is he's like a tramp. It's like he's the kind of the bumbling hobo buffoon, and so the white clown has all but disappeared from culture, and the red clown is very much taken over. And so I think a lot of the fear of clowns comes from a lot of society's hatred of the poor. Got a good mark on that paper.
Yeah. Can I read it?
I don't think I still have it anywhere, but
damn, if you come across it,
long time ago, I'll take a look.
Because I like those white like opera kind of sad fucking
cool
looking clowns.
Yeah.
Like I really like the Pagliacci opera. Like the one song where he starts singing it because he just found out his wife is cheating on him. It's the saddest fucking song ever.
Pretty sad. Read him until he decides to do something about it. Yeah. Spoiler alert for Pagliacci for you fans at home.
Any kids who like Pagliacci.
Y'all came to our scary stories not expecting opera spoilers. I don't know what to tell you.
Come on, man. I was
gonna go see Pagliacci.
I was gonna watch it tonight, and you just spoiled the thing.
I mean, to be fair, if you don't know the plot of the opera before you go in and you don't speak Italian, you're in trouble.
Good point.
It's gonna have to do a lot of just reading cues.
Looking at the playbill. Being like, hang on. What is
Which
this?
one's Pagliacci?
What's happening?
You stand up in the middle. You Pagliacci? Which one of you gamers is Pag?
Pagalake!
Pagalach?
I don't...
Anyway.
Now I'm just thinking of, like, going to, like, a Shakespearean play. And just like, insisting you're an art... Like, you're really into the arts. But, like, heavily mispronouncing every like...
Which one's Hamlet? Macbeth? Which one's Macbeth? Are you Beth?
Macdoof.
Well, one of them's Beth. You Bethany?
God. I still have Macbeth on the brain because the new movie was really cool.
Still gotta see it.
It's... Oh, man.
I know it's on Apple TV, and I refuse to get that, but...
I was looking to see if it was playing near you, because originally I was like, maybe I could go over and watch it with you, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, there's only one theater in my town, in my city, that really would play it, and if they're not, then... Anyway,
yeah.
Welcome, gamers. What do you mean you refuse to get Apple TV? Because I hate Apple products in general.
Yeah.
And there's just too many things for me to subscribe to. I don't want it. I can't.
I just can't.
If I'm going to pay for another one, I might as well get like HBO Max or something, you know?
Or get like,
so I can watch the Harley Quinn show.
What? There's
a Harley Quinn show on HBO Max?
They're making a Harley Quinn show on HBO Max?
Oh, it's a couple seasons in already, I think.
What?
I think I'm sure it's on HBO Max. It's definitely owned by HBO.
Is it? It's not, what's her name? What's Itonia's name?
No, it is not her. It's an animated show, I should say.
Oh, okay, okay.
But, what's her face is Harley? The girl from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, Penny.
Yeah, she's Harley Quinn.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'm surprised they didn't ask Miss Tara Strong to do it or something.
I think they wanted someone famous, but I'm sorry, Tara Strong, but
Tara
they wanted
Strong
a name.
is famous.
It's true, but they wanted a big name, you know.
Man.
But I know that it's stylized to look kind of like the old school Batman show, but it's full of swear words and shit. So. Yeah,
I wasn't sure if you could just rent a movie, with iTunes or something.
Yeah, right.
Because I want to watch Benedetta, and I think that's only available through.
Oh yeah. That'd be fun.
Through Apple right now, but I haven't checked for a while, so hopefully it's available somewhere else now. But
gotta be somewhere.
This
must exist.
I just want to watch it. I had a chance to watch it too. I was in Toronto, and I was like, well, if I wait here for another hour, it'll be playing at this theater that's going on. But I also just want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
So I went home, and I'm like, damn, I should have stayed to watch it. Because I don't know.
Anyway, welcome, gamers.
Anyway,
I'm sure this is what you were thinking that was going to happen. When you gathered around our creepy campfire with us.
This is the preamble before we get into the scary stories. Because you
walk through the dark woods, just the faint flicker of light in the distance, and you could just very gently hear, "Yeah, Pagliacci's a bitch."
I got a little fireplace we could listen to.
Don't get too close to the fire.
Yeah. Well, you know when you're you have a little kind of camp party or a sleepover, you don't immediately jump into the scary stories. You first got to talk about
you talk about Pagliacci to let your sleepovers.
No, I was gonna say you talk about boys you like or school.
Oh, sure. Which boys do you like?
I like that Timothy Chalamet guy.
Oh, sure. He's a bit of a twink, but yeah, he's pretty cool.
I think I like the twinks. I like the twinks.
I like the twonks. Give me a Jason Momoa.
No, I watched a movie on Netflix called The King.
Mm-hmm.
Starring,
I've seen. I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Our Pat's in it being creepy, isn't it?
Oh my god, yeah. Robert Pattinson's in it, and he has this like outrageous French accent, and
he's so French.
He's so French. It's like
fun with that movie.
It kind of like it really threw me off, like because I knew he was in the movie, and I kind of got through part of the movie, and then I was like, oh, he must be on like the French side because you don't see him for a bit, and then I didn't expect him to be like that French, because even the King of France doesn't have like that French, like flamboyantly French of an accent,
right?
And like it, when you hear it, you're almost like it took me out a second, and then I'm like, I think this is a bad French accent, but then as you listen, you're like, oh, this is actually like a really like. This is a really, like, outrageous French accent, but kind of good at the same time.
Yeah, it's weirdly nuanced as well. Like, he's doing things that you gotta have to know your French accents to go for.
Yeah.
And it totally works with the crazy character he's playing already. So.
Yeah, but I found it funny that, because I'm pretty sure... Bresh, don't say you French. Don't tell lies, you are French.
The French.
The French. But anyway, so
there's excellent. Is that a creepypasta?
We're just drunkenly around the fireplace, just being like, "Oh, French."
Just pouring the champagne into the fire and watching it explode.
Champagne's excellent. Ah!
Everyone say hi to Emily. She's just emerged out of the woods.
Ooh. Does Emily want to sit with us? And
does Emily want to sit with us and read scary stories?
We wait.
He's heading off to the bathroom.
Oh, okay, bye. She's off to shit.
Very secretly.
She's off to shit in the woods.
Can we get a French word from Edward? Let's see. What other French words haven't I said recently? What else do I know? La mer. Huh?
I think. Are you trying to say your mom?
No, that's the sea.
What?
La mer, do 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 do. On peut danser le long devant les temps. I don't know the next line actually.
It's the same word. What?
No, la mer. I don't know. I don't know the French version as well. I've only seen Mr. Bean's Holiday so many times.
Mer de mer. Ah.
Yeah.
I see. C'est vrai.
Maybe.
The thing.
Just humanity.
The thing I was gonna say about the King and and our Pat's outrageous French accent is I don't think Robert Pattinson speaks French, but like Timothy Chalamet does, or at least he spoke French in the movie. Like he might have learned some French for the movie.
He does it better,
or he just knows French. I don't know, but but Robert Pattinson sits down in front of him, and Timothy Chalamet starts like speaking in French, and Robert Pattinson is like, "No, let's speak English. I think it's fun to speak." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
I would rather if we did not bother with my horrible French. You say terrible.
He says like, "I like to speak English. It's such a ugly language." I'm just like, what?
Just like an ugly Chalamet.
Yeah, I guess he does have a very French name. I don't know.
Just like your ugly mother. And then Timothy Chalamet's like, "All right, this isn't in the script."
All right, hang on. Why we making fun of me? I know. I guess I've never heard him like speak not in a movie, because maybe he probably just does have like a crazy French accent or something. But
yeah, I've really only seen him in English things. But
yeah, because he
seems like a very sad English boy.
He's so like sallow looking.
But it is a very French name.
Yeah. I don't know. He's just, but I like him. Everything I've seen him in, I'm just like, that's a good boy. I like him. So
His dad is French? Oh, yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, expert depression. Anyway, I get
You
why
seem to know a lot about this man.
Yeah, I get why all these teenage girls like Timothy Chalamet.
He is the next bad boy for everybody to fawn over.
He's not even a bad boy. He's just a boy.
I said sad boy.
Oh, sad boy.
He ain't no bad boy, that's for sure.
He ain't no bad boy. But anyway, I'm not sure if we should jump into a story.
Up into a spooky time.
Or wait a bit more for more friends, or just jump right in.
You could always start one and then see what people join in for. Depression wants stories.
Alrighty.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. I got one. Alright.
Yeah, what's it called?
This one doesn't have a title, actually.
Oh.
Alright. So you're with your honey and you're making out when the phone rings. You answer it, and the voice is, "What are you doing with my daughter?" You tell your girl, and she says, "My dad is dead." Then who was phone?
Then who was phone?
Then who was phone?
Who could have been phone? Just the worst.
Okay. I'm sorry. We can't read scary stories and I don't read Then Who Is Phone.
It's true. I was not expecting it to be first though. That is allowed. That's fair.
Okay. Yeah, I slammed on creepy music right before saying it. Okay. Your turn.
Oh, me? Okay.
Unless you want me to read like a real one.
No, I can hop on next.
Okay.
This one I chose because the title is, "If you find a book called The Tale of Roly Poly, don't open it, don't read it."
I see.
Which I was immediately drawn to.
I'm sensing a theme. Already.
Welcome, kids. The book doesn't look particularly creepy. There are no ominous images on the cover, no words of foreboding. There is only plain red canvas with gold letters that reads, "The Tale of Roly Poly." I never saw the book until Ginny pulled it from her collection on the shelf. It may have been left by the previous owners. We'd only moved into this neighborhood a month ago. Ginny was already snuggled under the covers when I opened the book. At 6, she was starting to read and never needed to be coaxed to bed if I promised her a story. Well, almost never. Princesses were her new obsession, and we'd covered most of the classics, like Sleeping Beauty and Cinderella. The Tale of Roly Poly seemed like a departure from the usual set list. "You sure you want this one, Pumpkin?" Ginny yawned. "Yes, Daddy." "Yes, Daddy." There you go, some actual action.
Wait, do you want me to be the girl?
Sure. Wait, no.
No. Okay. Go ahead.
Your line is "Yes, Daddy." Go ahead.
Yes, Daddy.
Great. I shrugged and began to read. There were 2 boys, 2 children like you. One was called Jack, the other was Hugh. The boys sat in their room, for there was nothing to do. They were so bored. A common bugaboo. Huh? The book contained a simple illustration of 2 boys in a bedroom decorated with baseball-themed wallpaper. They thought and they thought, they huffed and they puffed, until Hugh said, "Phew, enough is enough. Let's play a game. We'll upend this loose end." "I know," says Jack. "I'll call on my friend." I groaned internally and hoped that Ginny would fall asleep soon. This wasn't exactly Dr. Seuss. Ouch.
Can I?
Jack took... Oh, yes.
Sorry. Quick point of order. What? So they're just hanging out in their room, huffing and puffing.
Yeah, like, I'm bored. There's nothing to do.
Oh, okay. I was like, why are they just breathing ecstatically?
This shit sucks.
And then they're just like, now let's do something. Like,
Alright, I've breathed enough for now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jack took the book and said the words written down. Come out, you silly old clown." With a whiz and a whoosh and a fizzle and pop, Roly-Poly arrived with a great big plop. On the next page, there's an enormous figure that dwarfs the two boys next to him. The man was dressed as a traditional pantomime clown, complete with a rough white makeup and garish red lips. "How do?" says the clown. "I've come to play." "You?" says Hugh. "Oh dear, holy moly."
Hang on.
Oh, yes.
Can I be the clown? Can you send me the story and I can read the lines? I want to be the clown. I want to be the clown.
Alright, fine. Hold on. Hold on, gamers. Hayley's got to be the clown.
I want to be the clown. I want to be the clown. I'm sorry.
How do? You didn't like my clown?
I liked your clown, but I also want to be the clown.
Gotcha.
Alright.
Right after the enormous figure and all that, yeah.
How do?
Said the clown.
I've come to play!
You? Said Hugh. Oh dear, holy moly. Don't be scared, declared Jack. It's just roly-poly. So what shall we do? Said Hugh all aflutter, as he pulled out his toys from the bedroom clutter. There were many games of various names, all wires and megawatts. A singing machine, a trampoline. There were even 2 robots. That doesn't rhyme.
Oh no!
Said the clown.
This will not do! I'm losing. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, keep going.
The quotes are confusing.
Yeah.
Let's play some real games! Ditch this techno voodoo! Come with me and you'll see, my home is quite grand. You'll have all that you need in topsy-turvy land.
The 2 boys nodded, their hearts filled with glee. They took the clown's hand and counted 3 Mississippi. Hugh and Jack, they should rhyme. Why can't they be Hugh and Sue? Anyway, Hugh and Jack closed their eyes as the world twirled and twirled. They whooped with joy as a new land was unfurled. The clown's home was quite splendid, full of candies and treats. The fun never ended. The rhyme scheme keeps changing on me. No parents, no chores, no bedtime or rules, no horrible homework from boring old schools. The boys played and played, and all 3 were glad, until one fateful day when the clown became sad.
Oh.
What's wrong, Roly-Poly?
It's me being sad.
Making that terrible, sad noise.
Oh.
What's wrong? 6-minute retching noise. What's wrong, Holy-Poly? Is there something we can do? The boys asked and asked, but their worry still grew.
Oh dear! How do I do this voice now?
The clown mumbled.
My apologies, most humbled. I'm just very hungry.
As his large tummy rumbled. Would you like chocolate or chips or gooey cream cake? We have hot dogs and ice cream in every milkshake. But the clown shook his head, for his belly did ache. Then he grabbed little Hugh.
A fine meal you will make!
My stomach flipped when I saw the content of the next page. I shut the book immediately.
Oh right, I forgot we're reading.
Let's call it a night, princess. Ginny tried to protest, but her eyes were heavy with sleep.
What voice is it? What happened to the boy, Daddy?
I'll tell you tomorrow. I kissed Ginny on the forehead and turned out the light. I went downstairs, poured a large glass of wine before reopening the book. The page that I'd closed contained an illustration of a gruesome scene. The clown held one of the boys above his head and had bitten into the child's left side. His teeth tore away chunks of pink flesh as blood trickled down his ruby-stained teeth. The boy's eyes were shut, his tear-streaked face frozen in an agonized expression. Spurred on by morbid curiosity, I continued to read. Roly-Poly grabbed the boy and held him aloft. He took a big bite. Sweet Hugh was so soft. He gnashed and he gnawed, he chewed and he slurped, and when nothing was left, the clown loudly burped. Go for it.
Oh no. I don't.
That was a terrible burp.
I don't have one ready.
Well, fake it. Come on. You're the clown. There we go. He looked around. There was no Jack to be found. The boy had run. The chase had begun. Jack ducked and he darted, he ran, and Roly-Poly just chuckled.
Come back here, young man! This place is large, indeed it does sprawl. There's no way out, no way at all.
Clown was quite right, for try as he might, Jack rushed to escape, but there was no exit in sight. The boy grew tired, his breath became weary. Roly-poly caught up, sounding quite cheery.
You're tougher than most. You I will cook.
And he hung the boy up on an old meat hook. The child screamed and he shouted, "You great fat liar!"
Well, there's no need to bring my weight into this, young man.
Look, I'm under a lot of stress right now. The clown licked his lips and as he stoked a big fire. I turned to the last page. The boy dangled from a hook over a gaping fire pit. Parts of her skin were cracked and blackened as the flames licked his small frame. The clown prodded the fire with a stick in one hand. The other hand waved to the reader as a maniacal smile revealed 2 rows of long, sharp teeth. The clown was so happy. This sweet meat was a treat. Hail to the chef. Bon appetit. Which is French. There you go, Depresh. The book ended there. I felt the bile rise to the back of my throat. What kind of twisted individual writes something like this? The author writes in his own creepypasta.
What kind of sick son of a bitch?
Terrible person. It was probably a
Sorry.
It was probably. There's your burp. What the hell was that?
I'm sorry.
It took so long.
It was delayed. That was me after I ate.
I guess that works. It was probably a desperate hack writer looking for some notoriety with his creepypasta on the internet. Whatever it was, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I finished my wine and threw the book in the trash.
Wow.
I woke up early the next morning and took the paper lying on the doorstep. It was Sunday, but I never liked to sleep in. I put in a pot of coffee and glanced at the headline on the countertop. My heart froze. 5th anniversary of local boy's disappearance. Hundreds have taken part in a remembrance rally to mark the 5th anniversary of the disappearance of brothers Hugh and Jack Hayley. The brothers, aged 8 and 6, were abducted from their home on January 7th, 2012. Oh wow. Date the entire thing, huh?
That's today.
Police have issued a fresh appeal for information this weekend. Continued story on page 3. I ran outside, removed the cover of the trash can. Perhaps whoever wrote that book knew something about the boy's disappearance. At the very least, I needed to report this sick material to the police. My stomach lurched as I regarded the contents of the can. The book was gone. A primal panic rose in my chest as I dashed upstairs to Ginny's bedroom. A single piece of paper lay atop the crumpled sheets of her empty bed. Ginny picked a good book. True tale to excite. But Dad did not like it. He thought it was trite. He stopped the story at the moment of glory. "Oh no, not for you. This part is unfit." The clown did not like that. Not one little bit. So Roly-Poly told Ginny, who was ever so skinny,
"Let's have some fun. We'll show that old ninny."
And now Ginny plays in the land topsy-turvy, full of sugar and spice and all things that are girly. While the princess holds court in dresses of satin, the clown simply smiles.
"She'll do. She'll fatten."
It's been 1 week since Ginny went missing. I've given the page to the cops, but they're as baffled as I am. Fucking cops. Every hellish verse of that awful book is seared into my skull. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I'm typing this as both an appeal and a warning. If you find this book, don't open it. Don't read it. Don't say it. Don't think it. Call the police. A child's life may depend on it. Fucking cops.
Oh! Oh!
And the moral of the story is a cab. Very first comment on it is, "I'm sorry, I can't take this seriously."
At least credit the real author. And that's the only 2 comments on here.
So that was one of the first ones I found while I was looking for things, and I was like, yeah.
I kind of liked that one, actually.
It was... I like the idea, but writing poetry, especially poetry that's meant to be a kid's book, is tough if you don't know how to do it.
Yeah. We've written a few, kind of like kids' stories.
Sorta, and I need to do a pass on a couple of those again. They're rough. But yeah, it's a tough thing to do. So it doesn't seem like a real book is the problem, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very like, oh, imagine if a kid's book had blood in it. Like, okay.
It's kind of like, well, you know, some of them do, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, like old fairy tales are very much like, and then like literally like Hansel and Gretel.
The stepmother had to take her feet off.
Yeah, like literally Hansel and Gretel is like...
Hey, Blanche, we are getting spooky in here.
We're getting spooky in here! We just read a story.
Also, thank you, Depresh.
I like doing my clown laugh.
It's now gonna have to make an appearance in every single one of these stories.
Oh no. I'm quickly... Oh, I was scrubbing through the one I want to read next. But there's no quotes in it, so I can't get...
That's okay.
I'll send it to you if you want to read along. Or
No. Go for it. I'll listen.
Okay. This
I'll
one...
use my imagination.
This one is called The Wonder of Tubers.
Ubers?
Tubers.
Okay.
With a B.
Yes.
Not tubers.
Like a plant tuber. I get
you. Ever since I was young, everyone has commented on the fact that I look just like a giant potato. Strangely...
okay, back up. Did you do that again?
Okay. Sure, yeah.
Turns out using my imagination is not gonna work. Go for
it. Ever since I was young, everyone has commented on the fact that I look just like a giant potato. Strangely, they've never considered the possibility that I am a giant potato.
God, that better not be how it ends.
That's it. No, I'm kidding. No, there's more. Don't worry, there's more.
That's one of those click hold 2-sentence horror stories.
That should be it, actually. Okay. No, okay. I was born in an abandoned thriftway, just 1 mile from a local nuclear meltdown. My skin was spotted with deep, wet holes. Those were my wonderful ear tubers. During that time, I was quite content just listening. It was so peaceful. But then I sprouted my first eye tuber, and I saw how complex the world really was. I needed to explore, but how? Limbless and round, it seemed impossible. Fret not, dear readers, for soon I would discover the miracle and majesty of tubers! Exclamation point.
Oh, hell.
Oh, yeah, them tubers.
Thank you.
Time, Casey.
Hi, Casey. With just 3 stout tubers, I was easily able to roll myself out of that place and on towards adventure. Much later, I would encounter my first humans, a gang of children playing in some fields. I watched them, saw how they moved, propelling themselves on 2 legs and happily grabbing each other. When they left, I felt so alone. I wanted to do what they did, and soon I could. Once again, with the magic of tubers, I sprouted 2 thick appendages for legs, and 2 long, squishy ones for arms. I stood at 7'5", and I was glorious.
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
I like to point out that this potato knows the imperial measurement system.
So what was the first sentence? All of my life people have said I look like a potato?
Ever since I was young, everyone has commented on the fact that I look just like a giant potato.
Not ever since I was young people have been like, this man is 7 feet tall.
This motherfucker looks like a giant potato!
God, I hope he's not going to elementary school. This thing's huge!
So I'm gonna turn the music down. Just a smidgen.
I have yet to recover from the local nuclear meltdown. Just fucking next, down the street. That place is still exploding.
Okay. Towards venture, blah blah. 7'5", and I was glorious. When the children returned, look at how fucking tall I am. Anyway, when the children returned to play, I was ready to join in. They sure were surprised to see me. I chased them through the field for hours. They cried and screamed, and I listened so carefully. And soon I was crying and screaming right along with them. Edward, can we get
I'm so glad that happened.
Can we get us crying and screaming?
How about that?
Yeah, that's good. We taught each other so much that day. They taught me the importance of companionship in this cold, cold world. And I taught them how to grow those wonderful tubers. On their hands, on their feet, even their eyeballs. Big, gushing, bony tubers! They're still out there, playing with their tubers. They've gotten so good at it that they barely look human. Oh, sorry, they barely look human anymore. All they've bothered keeping is their screaming holes, which they exercise constantly.
I know the Imperial system, but I assume that's a screaming hole there.
The screaming tuber!
I was exactly 7'8" and 2.5. However, I'm not entirely sure what that hole is doing. What's the point of that?
Edward, I need you to be ready for a second. All they've bothered keeping is their screaming holes, which they exercise constantly. I always scream back as a courtesy.
Like, that's what the potato laughs like.
So whenever I meet a human in some secluded place, they offer me that same old comment in that same old trembling voice that humans just seem to have. Why, I just stretch my massive screaming hole as wide as I can and whisper, "Tubers." That's the end.
The worst one yet. I can't not imagine it as this like claymation thing, just like flopping back and forth, like like
just a potato with 4 little like vines sticking out of it,
yeah,
and just screaming.
I can't.
Anyway, I hope you guys like that one.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun though.
I just
I caught so many little issues though. Ever since I was young, people were saying I look like a giant potato, but every time someone sees me, all they do is scream.
Well, it seems he points out, they say that comment in that same old trembling voice that humans just seem to have. So every time he sees someone, they're like, "You look just like a giant potato," as this fucking potato monster is standing in front of them.
God, why do we still live in Chernobyl? What the fuck is that? Why are we still here?
Why?
Suffer?
I'll depress like the other one better. That's fair.
I bet you was all in the presentation. Anyway.
Yeah. Bitch.
No, the clown voice.
Oh.
This is the screaming potato, you know?
I like the screaming.
Thank you.
It's very, very immersive. Alright, yeah, you go.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you start things around the campfire, right? This one's called...
Ladies and gentlemen, I have called you here today, in front of this campfire, and I'm going to read you all a scary story now.
I found something, French, because Depression's here.
Okay.
This is called The Gallery of Honoree Beauchamp. If you go into this one tiny, dingy one-story bar in Paris, and the right bartender is behind the counter that night, you might be able to see a very exclusive gallery show of the lost works of one Honoree Beauchamp. But to get in, you have to prove you're a devotee of the artist. You'll be asked, in clear and perfect English, "What would you like to partake of this glorious night?" Very British. Answer, absinthe. No matter what. Any other drink, from whiskey to water, will kill you as you sleep.
Whoa.
The next question...
As if absinthe won't fucking kill you.
Yeah, as if absinthe's a safe thing to drink.
Sorry, go ahead.
Absinthe makes the heart grow stronger, after all.
Yeah.
Alright. The next question will regard the type, and you must answer one of two things. The stuff that man himself could not bear to take, or the good stuff, the best stuff. If you ask for any other absinthe in any other way, you will be plagued by nightmares for 13 days. Each night's dream will be more horrible than the last, until upon the 13th dream, your nightmare will follow you every moment of your waking and sleeping life. Don't try and cheat the barkeep. The door locks behind you. You have to drink what he gives you, doom or not. That such a powerful man granted you an audience at all should be enough. Besides, I've heard that the dying complimented his drinks in their death throes. If you make it that far before sealing your fate, the bartender will say, "Be sure you handle this with care. This is the finest I have." From here, you may do one of two things. You may say, word for word, "I overestimated my fortitude, and I bid you good eve." If the barkeep nods, you may leave the door.
I'm asleep now.
Good day to you, my good man.
You slap your glove on the ground.
You pull it off, you whack him in the face, you put it back on, you walk out the door. If the barkeep nods, you may leave the door you entered, unharmed, with nothing gained, nothing lost, except the time spent inside. And I guess you're incredibly drunk now because you drank absinthe. Or you can go on. You will be given a glass with a 7-sided rim, with each side twisting ever so delicately around the basin until forming a sleek and simple handle. You will also receive a very, very, very special absinthe spoon in the shape of a key. The holes at the key's top serve as the draining point for the alcohol to pour over a sugar cube. And of course, an unmarked bottle stripped long ago of its label, scraps of paper sticking to its sides, covered in the rot of the decades past. The spoon is completely flat, so not a spoon at all, but it has two distinct sides, one with a groove along the shaft of the key, and one without. Turn the shaft down so the groove will be face down. If you attempt this face up, your absinthe will taste foul, your nose will burn, and your eyes will shrivel in their sockets with unspeakable horrors not of this world.
I think that's just what absinthe does.
It's true. Unspeakable horrors? That sounds like college to me. I remember when they get brought out. Anyway, never mind. Now, if your spoon is the right way up, begin preparing the absinthe as one would. Put the sugar on the spoon, pour the alcohol over it so it gains its color and special qualities. Say, cheers to your friend the barkeep, and bottoms up. If you don't, the absinthe will burn every innard it touches at the power and pain of sulfuric acid. You really gotta do a lot of manners in this or you just die.
This feels like one of those creepypastas where it's like, play how to do hide and seek by yourself.
Exactly,
like those stupid demonic rituals. Anyway, carry on.
That's kind of what I liked about it. Okay. If you've done it right, except it's more convoluted so far.
I'm losing track of what we have to do.
Yeah. Now, if you've done it right and you drank it, the already dim lights will go off, and darkness will consume the bar. Do not be afraid. The darkness is the cue that you've been approved for the exhibit. Wait out the darkness and keep silent as the dead, lest the bartender decide to make you so. Eventually, not too long, 2 to 3 minutes, a green floodlight will shine brightly on the door on the far wall of the bar. The bar will be bathed in green, and not just from the floodlight. Little luminescent spheres will gently drift through the room, and the barkeep will no longer be there, nor any other unassuming patron inside before. Who I guess just would not react if you died on the floor.
You ordered absinthe? Yeah. Oh, shit.
There is no danger by this point. Consider it a safe point. Wow. If you didn't finish the absinthe, you don't have to, but you might want the alcohol. Either way, take the spoon and put it in the keyhole of the green-lit portal's doorknob. It will fit perfectly, and reach the end of the keyhole within a resounding click. Give me a resounding click.
Click.
Okay. Inside is a small elevator with the most beautiful woman any mortal eyes can imagine. It is Rosamund Pike, bathed in the green glow and just such an angle that the light refracts beyond her into the shape of wings.
Whoa.
The green fairy herself will ask you, "Going up?" And considering all the trouble you went through, it would only make sense to say yes. Now you have one more hurdle to clear. She will ask you.
Sorry, you also you compliment her on her work in I Care a Lot, because she was very good in that movie. Anyway.
God, World's End is one of my favorites. You're amazing, lady.
Can I shake your hand? You don't have to say yes.
She's like, hold on. You stink of absinthe. I'm not touching you.
Sorry. So you're drunk as shit because you drank a bunch of absinthe.
Pike?
You walk into you walk into an elevator where your elevator man is Rosamund Pike with wings. And you're just like,
yeah.
she's like going up, and you're like, fuck yeah.
Oh, God, I would love to see some art right now.
Yeah,
Right.
I forgot about the art part. Anyway.
He will ask you, as you cross the line from the bar to the compartment, how would you compare Beauchamp's surrealism to that of, say, René Magritte? For your reply, you must say, I've come to see more than art tonight. If you don't, the green floodlight will blow out, the doors will slam shut, and the elevator will plummet through a seemingly infinite blackness before a red light grows brighter and the elevator nears the very depths of hell.
If you don't agree with Rosamund Pike's opinion on art, she will kill you.
You're like, yeah, I think Magritte's a little bit, self-centered, not really the best of surrealism. And then suddenly in hell. Now, if your elevator begins to go up, the green light will also fade, but in its place will be the cool glow of the moon. But before it even hits your eye like a big pizza pie, the elevator will reach the top of its, well, let's call it a shaft, to not get too intricate. The fuck kind of sentence is that?
Just call it a big pee-pee.
Well, why don't we just call it an elevator shaft? Yeah. Now, alright, it's immediately followed by another great sentence. Now, I'm not as sure about this next part as the rest, but I've heard that if the green fairy kisses you on the cheek as she leaves the elevator, you will always be blessed with a creative inspiration, a permanent, ever-changing muse. You can't ask her, and you can't kiss her. She has to do it of her own volition. Only yes means yes. And if not, well, nothing. But no reason to do it anyway and anger the woman who is responsible for keeping the Beauchamp paintings safe for so many years. You will enter, from the elevator, a turn-of-the-century parlor, with a large poster of Henri Beauchamp on the left side of the opposite wall. On the right is a door. Taking the time to read the poster is a fairly good idea, as it explains the very significance of Monsieur Beauchamp. You see, he was a struggling surrealist in the 1920s, always making art to try and be free of all premeditation, and managed to do so. After one night in a dingy, one-story bar in Paris, he began to paint patterns. First it was geometric patterns, then complete fractals, then images that would be in the newspaper the next day, and then next week, and then from 50 years ago, 100 years in the future, 200 years in the past, and then, on the last night of his life, he kidnapped 3 young girls from their homes at night, murdered them, and painted his finest masterpieces in reds and yellows with the blood and bile of virgins. Ew.
Ew.
Oh, he committed suicide immediately after painting exactly 13 of these. Now it's scary.
What?
And these 13 are behind the door on your right. The first six from the left show, from left to right, the genesis of the universe. The only true visage of God is viewable to the eyes of man, the true image of Jesus Christ. The sprawling clouds of heaven, every pope from the first to faces not yet recognizable, and a portrait of Jesus' appearances in his second coming. The other 6 on the right show from right to left.
I'm confused too. So long.
The other 6 on the right show from right to left the cataclysm of the universe, the only true visage of Satan as viewable to the eyes of man, the true image of Judas, the sprawling flames of hell, every human embodied demon from the first to faces not yet recognizable, and a portrait of the Antichrist in his coming. Now 6 and 6 makes 12 if you're following along and have watched Sesame Street.
I'm banging my head on my table right now.
But what of the 13th? The 13th painting turned around on its wall pin. The image is facing the wall. The space around it is roped up at a very wide diameter, and under the flipped image is a sign in 3 languages. The top is in the scriptures of the Seraphim, the bottom in the runes of the highest demonic orders, and in the middle, Roman letters. Just says, do not touch. Now, like the kiss, I can't say this part with any certainty, but all the same, I heard that somehow, as he died, Beauchamp flayed his skin, his organs, his very soul into some sort of collage, How he took his dead body and created such a horrific masterpiece, I could never say, nor would I ever dare to. But if you make it, maybe you can flip the canvas over and tell me sometime. You can tell me about it over a drink.
Is that it?
That's it.
I hated that one.
Again, a fun idea, absolutely destroyed by just, like, creepypasta conventions.
Yeah. It's like, why, if you don't know about half of this shit, why are you giving us a guide on what to do?
It's very silly.
It just
I do like the idea of an art project of, like, I'm gonna paint all the popes into the future, and what the fuck you're gonna do about it, but, like... It's a mess.
With virgin pee.
Yeah, that's something else, though. I'm sure the picture of God doesn't look great. If it's just in pee and blood.
Yeah,
He's like, oh.
Like barf.
Alright. Would you like to go again, then?
So you're making out with your honey. Alright, I
love you, sweaty. Where's that one? Is that one next?
No, I don't think I have that one. We could read that one.
Please. Then you can do a real one after it, but you gotta.
Okay, I'll read, I don't have it ready. Hang on, let me get it.
How hard could it be to find?
Yeah.
Also, gamers,
I got it.
if y'all are part of our Discord and know some other scary stories that you really like, please put them in. I've got a lot here, but, like, I'd love to read more, and I'm sure we'll do this again. So,
Alright.
where'd you find these stories? I just Googled. Yeah.
Some of them I either hear listening to podcasts, or there's, like, some that I remember. I have a few here that I really liked when I was younger, because I used to listen to a lot of creepypastas, because I have... Fun fact about Hayley, they secretly wrote them. There's one I want to write for next time.
Damn, should we do that? Should we sprinkle in our own next time?
That
I'll try.
I feel like we'd write really shitty ones, but like on purpose.
The Potato Man, right?
Yeah, guys, I wrote the Potato Man one.
And then it went but-da! Mr. Fresh, please write one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, next time let's read everybody's creepypastas.
Yeah, everyone submit one and we'll read it and it'll be really
It's a great idea.
Okay.
Yes.
Man and girl go out to drive under moonlight. They stop at a side of road. He turned to girl and say, "Baby, I love you very much." "What is it, honey?" "Our car is broken down. I think the engine is broken. I'll walk and get some more fuel." "Okay. I'll stay here and look after our stereo. There have been news reports of stereos being stolen." "Good idea. Keep the doors locked no matter what." "I love you, sweaty." So the guy left to get fuel for the car. After 2 hours, the girl say, "Where is my baby? He was supposed to be back by now." Then the girl hear a scratching voice and say, "Let me in." The girl doesn't do it, and then after a while, she goes to sleep. The next morning, she wakes up and finds her boyfriend still not there. She gets out to check, and man, door, hand, hook, car, door!
Door, hand, car, door!
Ah!
That's the scariest shit yet. I lost it the first time I read that one. I love it so much.
The stereo's gone! Man, door, hand, hook, car, door!
They're so eager to get out how scary it is that they forget to make any sense at all. Like all the pieces came together, but what does it mean?
Okay, I have one.
Okay, yes.
But there are some, it's kind of like a frame narrative, but then there are some like journal entries. So I feel like we could take turns reading like the journal entries. So I will send it to you.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
We mentioned.
Oh, here it is.
Yes. I think. Okay. Let me know. Do you have it?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. During the summer of 2003.
You want to say what it's called first?
Oh, or? This one. Sorry. No, I don't. No, this one is called The Rake. I was a fan of this one as a small 14-year-old.
Would you say this was your favorite, or?
I think I definitely had an affinity with this one.
Okay.
I don't know if I had a favorite. No, my favorite is like fucking half an hour long. We don't have time to read.
I've got a favorite, but yeah, let's do this.
Okay. All right. During the summer of 2003, events in the northeastern United States involving a strange human-like creature sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact, as most online and written accounts of the creature were mysteriously destroyed. Because you can destroy an online account of a... Anyway. Primarily focused in rural New York State, and once found in Idaho, self-proclaimed witnesses of stories told their encounters with a creature of unknown origin. Emotions range from extremely traumatic levels of fright and discomfort to an almost childlike sense of playfulness and curiosity. While their published versions are no longer on record, the memories remain powerful. Several of the involved parties began looking for answers that year. In early 2006, the collaboration had accumulated nearly 24 documents dating between the 12th century and present day, spanning 4 continents. In almost all cases, the stories were identical. I've been in contact with a member of this group and was able to get some experts from their upcoming book. This one comes from 1964. Edward, go ahead.
As I prepare to take my life, I feel it's necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I've introduced through this act. Not the fault of anyone other than him. For once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice and looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah.
That's the tone of every dangerous note like that.
Goodbye!
Found in the same wooden box were 2 empty envelopes addressed to William and Rose, and 1 loose personal letter with no envelope. Dearest Linny, I have prayed for you, and he spoke your name. Goodbye.
Goodbye! Alright. A journal entry, translate from Spanish.
Hit me with that Spanish accent.
Oh no, I can't. I have experienced... Oh, that's more French.
Stick with it.
I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced... Wait. Okay. Oh,
Nope.
Shit, okay. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I have experienced the greatest terror. I see his eyes when I close mine. They are hollow, black. They saw me and pierced me. His wet hand. I will not sleep. His voice. Unintelligible text.
Name and address withheld. Now, a mariner's log. 1691. Yeesh. Oh, Harry came to me in me sleep. From the foot of me bed I felt a sensation. He took everything. We must return to England. We shall not return here again at the request of the Rake. Oh,
And then a skeleton popped out.
boogity, boogity, boogity.
Hey, Adrian. Alright.
Welcome.
From a witness. 2006. 3 years ago, I just returned from a trip to Niagara Falls with my family for the 4th of July. We were all very exhausted after a long day of driving, so my husband and I put the kids right to bed and called it a night. This music's a bit dramatic for what I'm... What's going on here?
Oh damn, is this the last one of the story? Shit.
Oh, did I pick the wrong voice for this one?
This is the biggest one by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Damn. I had a bit for the next one, that's alright.
Do you want to take turns reading it?
Number 15 from a witness.
No, you can't.
No, go ahead.
Alright. At about 4 a.m., I woke up thinking maybe I should read this in a normal voice.
Oh my god. I woke up thinking my husband had gotten up to use a restroom.
Okay, I'll keep it.
Yeah, go full Valley Girl.
I used the moment to steal back the sheets, only to wake him in the process. I apologized and told him I thought he got out of bed. When he turned to face me, he gasped and pulled his feet up from the end of the bed so quickly, his knees almost knocked me out of the bed. Then he grabbed me and said something. After adjusting to the dark for half a second, I was able to see what caused the strange reaction. At the foot of the bed, sitting and facing away from us, there was what appeared to be a naked man. Or a large hairless dog of some sort. Its body position was disturbing and unnatural, as if it had been hit by a car or something. For some reason, I was not instantly frightened by it, but more concerned as to its condition. At this point, I was somewhat under the assumption that we were supposed to help him. My husband was peering over his arm and knee and tucked into the fetal position, occasionally glancing at me before returning to the creature. What a fucking bitch. What a coward. Anyway, in a flurry of motion, the creature scrambled around the side of the bed and crawled quickly in a flailing sort of motion right along the bed, as it was less than a foot from my husband's face. It was really scary. The creature was
we're gonna kiss. I was like, what the fuck? That's my husband.
But I also was kind of like into it, you know?
Just a little bit, but I didn't want to let them know.
Yeah. Anyway, the creature was completely silent for about 30 seconds, or probably closer to 5, since... Or probably closer to 5. It was just...
I wasn't really paying attention.
It just seemed like a while.
My phone was on the other side of the room. I did not know what time it was. I could not tell time.
I have no concept of time whatsoever. Anyway, this motherfucker was just looking at my husband. The creature then placed its hand on its knee and ran into the hallway, leading to the kids' rooms. I screamed and ran for the light switch, planning to stop him before he hurt my children.
God, those are my kids.
Yeah, don't touch my kids, you sick fuck. What the hell?
They go with my purse so well. I mean, you can't just take them from me.
I worked hard at making those. You can't just, like, kill my kids. Like, what the Anyway.
You know how much time it took me?
I was in labor for like 5 minutes.
Like 5 minutes or maybe 12. I really don't know. I have no idea. Oh, hi, Pipey.
Anyway, when I got to the hallway, the light from the bedroom was enough to see it crouching and hunched over about 20 feet away. He turned around and looked directly at me, covered in blood. I flipped the switch on the wall and saw my daughter, Clara.
She was naked.
She was totally dead.
I think she died.
I'm literally crying right now. Anyway.
Literally?
Anyway, the creature ran down the stairs while my husband and I rushed to help our daughter. She was very badly injured and spoke only once more in her short life. She said, "He is the Rake."
But slightly higher pitch. Here's the Rake. Exact same voice.
He is the Rake. Anyway, my husband drove into a car. Sorry, my husband drove his car.
Drove right into the car.
I'm all thrown off now.
I'm sorry.
It's like... My husband drove his car into a lake that night while rushing. What? I'm crying. Like that dumb fucking idiot he is. Anyway, he drove his car to a lake while rushing our daughter to the hospital. They did not survive. Why? Why I didn't go to the hospital? I don't fucking know. Anyway, being a small town, news got around pretty quickly. The police were helpful at first, and the local newspaper took a lot of interest as well. However, the story was never published, and the local television news never followed up either, which kind of sucks because
am I right?
Because I really wanted to be on TV. Because my friend Bethany, she was back on like TV, like the local news, like 2 weeks ago, and
if you can't even get on TV for your husband dying, I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, she only was on TV because like she won a hot dog eating contest. That's
another one of those voices where. There's another one of those voices where I have to do a lot of hand motions and facial expressions in order to even do it, and none of that's coming across. Nobody gets to know. Y'all just have to, like, imagine.
Edward's just waving his hands like a bird.
I've been checking my nails for the past, like, 5 minutes. Like, nobody knows. Not even anything on my nails.
They look great. Oh, I sound like a Taters girl. Nice. Oh, like the potato guy.
Oh, he was the Taters girl.
He's a Taters girl the whole time.
Who was phone?
Anyway, so yeah, my husband and daughter are dead, and I'm not on the news. Anyway, for several months, my son Justin and I stayed in a hotel near my parents' house. We didn't stay at my parents' house.
Hold on.
Yeah, I had 2 kids.
Okay.
I said that before, didn't I?
Yeah, but just one kid got mauled and then the Rake left.
Yeah.
Okay.
He only had time for one kid.
Oh, sure. I mean, you didn't even kill the kid because the dad did that. That's rough.
My stupid husband just like fucking drove a car into a lake, and I was just really upset.
First guy took his own leg. Like, I don't think the Rake doesn't do anything. Anyway, continue.
So far, like, okay, he did like maul my daughter, but
sure.
But like,
apparently we could drive to the hospital and have it taken care of. So like, it's fine.
She
was able to talk during her injury, and she didn't sound too concerned.
Yeah, she just was like, "Oh, that's the Rake."
Oh my god, that's the Rake we left outside. Don't step on it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm staying at a hotel near my parents' house. I'm not staying at my parents' house because they don't want me. I can't imagine why. After we decided to return home, I began looking for answers myself because I'm like kind of a sleuth. Anyway, I eventually located a man in the next town over who had a similar story. We got in contact and began talking about our experiences. He knew of 2 other people in New York who had seen the creature we now refer to as the Rake.
For no real reason, but anyway.
For no reason whatsoever. Anyway, it took the... Sorry, I'm just trying to find my place, because it's such a...
Story for the rest of the story.
It's such a painful story to recount, but I'm just, like, it's very healing to talk about it.
Hey, Internet, like. The Rake killed my daughter. A thread.
Not clickbait.
Emotional. Story time.
Story time. The Rake killed my daughter. Emotional, not clickbait. Gone sexual.
Unsexual.
It took the 4 of us about 2 solid years after hunting on the internet and writing letters to come up with a small collection of what we believe to be the accounts of the Rake. None of them...
solid years, or maybe a week. I don't really know.
I have no concept of time. Also, none of them gave any details.
What a terrible book.
None of them gave any details, history, or follow-up. Why are we writing this then? One journal had an entry involving the creature in its first 3 pages and never mentioned it again. It's so stupid. Sorry. A ship's log explained nothing of the encounter, saying only that they were told to leave by the Rake. That was the last entry in the log. There were, however, many instances where the creature's visit was one of a series of visits with the same person. Multiple people also mentioned being spoken to, my daughter included. This led us to wonder if the Rake had visited any of us before our last encounter. I set up a digital recorder near my bed and left it running all night, every night, for 2 weeks.
And that's fucking great.
At least
all of them.
Maybe it was 5 weeks. I'm not sure.
Who knows?
Who gives a shit? Anyway, I would tediously scan through the sounds of me rolling around in my bed each day when I woke up. By the end of the second week, I was quite used to the occasional sounds of sleep while blurring through the recording at 8 times the normal speed. This still took almost an hour every day.
Or maybe 8 minutes, anyway.
On the first day of the third week, I thought I heard something different.
Third grade, I'll tell you what he did.
What I found was a shrill voice. Not like mine, though. It was different.
I'm not shrill!
I'm not that shrill! Anyway, it was the Rake.
Oh.
I told you it wasn't me.
How do you know?
I don't know.
Continue.
I can't listen. Excuse me. This voice is starting to hurt.
Oh, no.
I can't listen to it long enough to even begin to transcribe it. I haven't let anyone else listen to it yet. All I know is that I've heard it before, and now I believe that it spoke when it was sitting in front of my husband. I don't remember hearing anything at the time, but for some reason, the voice recorder immediately brings me back to that moment. The thoughts must have gone through my daughter's head. Wait, the thoughts that must have gone through my daughter's head made me very upset. Like the thoughts she had as my husband drove her into the lake.
Like, oh my god, this is not the road. Also, where's my arm?
I have not seen the Rake since he ruined my life, but I know he has been in my room while I slept. I know in fear that one night I'll wake up to him staring at me. The fucking end. So what'd you think?
I thought that was the worst, too.
Yeah.
Why is it presented with this? Here's a selection of numerous stories of interactions, and then the first one's like, I think I've seen a Rake. And the second one's like, God, I feel bad. And the third one's like, yeah, I don't feel great. And the next one's like, here's an actual horror story. Give me a hot second.
From what I remember, like, as a kid, like, I remember just that last story, and I thought it was like there were like pictures that people have made like of the Rake like sitting on the bed, and they're really cool. I think I remember the pictures more than the actual story, because he is like this like waifish tall character that's always crouching and shit, and like those are the kind of monsters that I think are really cool. So like, so like I remember those and being like, hey, that's neat. There's like another one I remember of like him being in the woods and like someone like finding him and stuff like
there's that classic picture that he gets.
Yeah. But anyway.
It's kind of like,
I feel like
just as a horror story, it's really weirdly written. It's really, really weirdly structured.
Yeah.
It seems like a horror story of like, God, I've seen a terrible thing and now it's haunting me. And then they were like, nah, eldritch horror maybe. It's always existed. Maybe.
It's kind of like that with Slender Man too. Like there's a few like official stories of just being like his canon, I guess, is like there are a lot of modern stories, but then there's also like but here's pictures of him in fucking 1200 Germany where he was like a tale we told like to scare kids, and I'm just like, shut up.
I think that one just kind of started with just a bunch of pictures that people were editing.
Yeah, it was
creepy heads into.
Yeah, the pictures are really cool. Like it was for it was for some sort of contest or something. and he made the guy. I think his name was Victor Savage or something. I don't know if that's his.
Savage.
Sorry.
Derek Savage?
No, not
Daddy Derek Savage?
It was Derek Savage's son.
These are the two things they do.
My favorite creepypasta is Ted the caver. Fuck. Is that one long?
Let's take a look. Let me see if I can find it. But I'm reading the next one.
Of course.
Welcome to the page of Ted, updated on... The hell?
That one's full on scary. Oh. It's a long one, though. Oh.
Yeah, this whole little website here. Interesting.
Ooh.
Spooky.
Spooky! Alright.
Uh-oh! Now it's time for my favorite creepypasta.
Oh, no!
It's time, gamers!
Hang on, can I... Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change the music for this one.
Oh, okay. I can't hear the music, so I'm...
Don't worry,
I'm gonna trust you on this.
It's great. Don't worry.
Piper's coming back to hear this story. Hello.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Go.
This is the story of the Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition. It all started 53 years ago, back when I was a fully grown little boy. One day, while I was jumping through the street, I happened upon a large vehicle.
Sorry, the music's not working. You're telling it in a scarier fashion than I expected. So I'm gonna go back to the scary music. Go ahead.
One day, while I was jumping through the street, I happened upon a large vehicle, which clobbered me violently into a nearby window. After getting my bearings, I looked up to see a young boy with a Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition in his tiny little hands. I had always dreamed of owning a Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition, but my family could barely even afford gold. He looked up at me with those big, vibrating eyes. His two lower teeth quivered in confusion. Mama, he said softly. This was my chance. I ran at him screaming and stomping my feet, scrambling his brain in sheer confusion. I shoved him as hard as I could and grabbed his Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition, and I ran out the door. I leaped back down the street towards my home. I pulled open the door by its big, smelly handle, and I let myself in quietly. I snuck past my many parents and shut myself into my room. I had made it. Finally, a Game Boy Advance SP to call my own. I will have to keep it hidden from my family. I shan't ever allow them to know. I took the Game Boy SP in my small, beautiful hands and proceeded to slide the switch to on mode. I will never forget that wonderful sound it made the first time I turned it on. And that wonderful Nintendo logo splashed my screen in sheer delight. I blew out my candle and I pulled my curtain shut tight. I wanted absolutely nothing to get in the way of my first Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition experience. Suddenly, a small man appeared on screen. Shortly after, the word Mario started flashing behind him. I assume this man is the man known as Mario. I had seen adverts showing him on television. The title of the screen slowly lowered itself in from the top of the screen. Super Mario and the Legend of the Stolen Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition.
Oh!
My heart sank as I noticed a dead pixel in the lower left region of the screen. Beggars can't be choosers, I thought to myself, however, and I pressed the start button with my fingy. A vast landscape with clouds, bushes, and bricks appeared before my very eye, and there he was, the familiar Mario Man I had grown to enjoy. I pushed left on the left button. Mario himself dashed to the left. Dust between his silly brown shoes filled the air. Amazed by his speed, I quickly pushed right to test his turning abilities. I was not disappointed, as Mario changed direction in a matter of seconds. I learned the other button functions as I played. B allowed Mario to dash at high speeds, similar to my own. A allowed him to leap so high in the sky that I screamed in fear that perhaps maybe he wouldn't come back down. Yet he always did, which engaged me in the game world even further. I quickly grasped the concepts of jumping large gaps, avoiding enemies, and climbing a big flagpole at the end of each level. I got to the 4th level without much problems. I looked into a nearby mirror and smiled at myself with one eyebrow raised and said loudly, "Does this game think I am not good? I can handle anything it throws my way." Suddenly the screen turned black, and I don't just mean black. I mean so black the screen looked like a deep hole. I said out loud, "Is this a hole I see before me?" And it echoed like a hole.
Is this a hole I see? Is this a hole I see?
Oh, thank you. I wiped a large chunk of sweat from my flopping brow. That was weird, I thought, in a big bubble next to my head. The level loaded, but this time it took a lot longer. Mario stood in place, so I pushed right and he began running. I noticed the graphics were getting all jumbly. Also, the music was becoming less like the Mario theme, da 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 da, and more garbled, like I was nearing the first gap of the stage to jump over. As I drew closer, I readied my sweating pink thumb over the A button. The gap was here. I pushed the button, but Mario didn't jump. He just screamed.
Mamma mia!
I pushed left as far as I could, and he grounded to a halt, right at the edge of the gap. I pushed A frantically and repeatedly to try and make him jump, but he just screamed and screamed. The camera zooms in on my face as I pummel that A button, trying to make Mario feel that air above his body. But all that filled the air were my friend Mario's screams of fear. I said no more! I pulled the cartridge from the Game Boy Advance SP and threw it out my window. It landed in some mud outside, and I laughed and I closed my window. I turned around and saw that the cartridge was back in my Game Boy. Mud oozed from its cartridge slot. I gasped and I said to myself, "No, it cannot be." The Game Boy turned itself back on. Mario's face appeared with hyper-realistic skin pores and bloody chapped lips.
No.
He spoke softly. "You stole me from my human. Now I, Mario of Nintendo of America Incorporated, curse you forever!" I screamed aloud, louder than an eagle of the night. There must be some way to undo this curse. I decided the only way to rid myself of this curse was to beat the game. I ran up to the first gap of the level, I pushed A, and Mario just screamed again. Oh! I fell into the hole, and Mario lost a life. This is when I noticed my skin began to rot and turn slightly green. "What on earth is happening, Mario?" I asked Mario. "Every life you lose, I will make you rot. Ha 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 ha." I asked, "How can I beat the game with only screams? I cannot jump gaps by screaming." "Fuck you," Mario said quietly. I screamed. Oh! I decided not to beat the game in fear of me rotting. I decided that I was going to do the right thing. I ran out of my room, pushing my feeble mother out of my way in the hallway. I ran down the street to the boy's house.
Hey, son, how's it going?
Thunder bellowed and rain pitter-pattered on my crying face. Finally, I reached the house. I leaped up to the boy's window and let myself in. The room was dark. "Boy!" I cried out. "Boy, are you there?" I turned on the light switch. As the room lit up, I saw many people dressed in black. They all cried softly. "Who the flip are you people?" I asked, with tears running down my chinny chin chin. We are this boy's family, a woman replied. I was his mother. She pointed to the center of the room where a small white coffin was suspended over a hole. My heart sank. Is your boy inside that box? I asked with an eyebrow raise and a finger on my chin. Yes. A crazed person broke into our home, ravaged our son, and stole his childhood by killing him.
Wow.
Everything went slow. I dropped to my knees. I held the Game Boy tightly in my clenched fist. Could this be my fault? I asked myself politely. His mother walked over to me with a big fat tear in her eye. She told me, it really means a lot that a stranger would let himself into our home to pay respects to a boy he didn't know. I'm sure you two would have gotten along great. Then she pointed to the priest and said, please lower our child into the earth now! The priest did just that. He pulled on a lever with a shiny red ball on it. The coffin started going down. I shoved the mother away from me, and I sprinted towards the coffin. I jumped on that coffin and the rope snapped. I began falling into the earth with the child inside. I heard the screams from his family echoing above. I pried open the coffin as we fell. I just had a cup of coffee in the middle of this.
Slurp.
And I shoved the Game Boy into his tiny, cold mouth. Free me of this cursed child, I screamed at the top of my head. I noticed that we weren't hitting the bottom, and that the darkness in this hole reminded me of the dark I saw in the Game Boy. Could this be what I saw before? From the darkness, a floating black and white head of Mario appeared, and he said to me, in this hole, you shall fall with the dead body of a child. Ha ha! And then he Gaussian blurred away.
What?
This is what I get for stealing, I guess, I said as I shrugged. Suddenly Mario appeared again. He said, wow, it seems like you learned your lesson. You now be free.
What?
Bye! He clicked his mustache, and I was back in my room. I looked over on my bed, and the Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition was gone. My mother opened the door and she said, my son! My beautiful son! I make you eggs on toast! And she threw it on my bed and left with a smile on her face. I realized maybe stealing not okay. I looked to the sky and I said, thank you, Mario inside Game Boy. Everything would be alright. And though the child remained permanently dead, his mother could always play his Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition to remember him by. Thanks to me.
Wow.
Truly a masterpiece.
So you're making out with your honey. Do you remember when, with this story in mind, Thomas was talking about a Game Boy he used to have, and I asked him, was it a Game Boy XP Blue Edition? And he kind of blinked, and he was like, yeah, how'd you know? And I'm like, oh!
And we asked him if it got stolen, and he said it did.
Wow! So anyway, Thomas was the young boy that died in the story.
Now he's permanently dead.
So that's a good one.
That's yeah, good one for sure.
It encapsulates a lot of stuff that happens within creepypastas that are kind of tropes.
And then just throws in the worst descriptive words ever. It's so good. That's written by Chris O'Neill.
Thomas has been dead this whole time. Yes. Yes, he has.
It's a great... I tried my best to read it in some of his pronunciations. Well, maybe I'll post a video of it in the chat. It's a great time.
It's I don't think I've ever listened to Oni Plays read it. I've only heard you read it, which is
it's pretty similar.
Fine for me. Oh man,
it was like his stutter. If I realized maybe stealing not okay.
I like the solution of just like, oh, yeah, okay, you can go home now. What?
I guess you did it.
Sir.
Sir?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I fixed the sound alerts.
Yes. So please, use them to your heart's content.
Yes. Wow. Hard to top that one. I don't know if I have one here that'll
Do you not?
No, I have a few, but I'm like, can I top that?
Yeah, what's the next best one you
got? Let's see here.
Oh god, that one's very long.
I got one. This one I liked as a kid. It's a bit long. Not
Drink.
Drink? Oh shit, okay. I'll finish my monster then. Should I brought a water, considering we're reading things? Yes.
Ah, delicious. Yes, probably a good idea.
Did I? No. I was drinking a monster, so... Because I treated myself to one. We could take turns reading this one.
Oh, sure. What you got?
Alright.
As long as it's better than the Rake.
I think it is. This one's called On the Bus.
Which is a great title for something scary.
Yes.
Definitely not the plot of a, like... Not the scene title of, like, every Spider-Man opening.
What?
Anyway.
Change the music up.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Damn it, I should have had that ready. The streets, roads, and dusty lanes of Colombia have been fertile territory for myths and legends since before the arrival of the Spaniards. Tales of La Patasola, a one-legged wailing banshee that forever sought her child, and of Duende, a backwards... Duende.
Alright, never mind.
What he said, a backwards-footed goblin that led travelers to their doom, nibbled at the corner of journeymen's ears. Ease? Sorry, for centuries. Although these stories mainly troubled those of living or in passing through rural areas, the growth of cities brought with it a new breed of urban legend, rooted in primal distrust we still harbor, somewhere deep inside of modern technology. An example of this is the phantom bus that allegedly roams the streets of Bogota at night. Supposedly, young women who board it alone are found mutilated in overgrown outlined fields a few days later, a frozen look of abject terror illustrating the moment of their last tormented breath. Do you want to... We can do a paragraph at a time?
That being said, given that you're certainly not a young woman, Depresh, at least not last time you checked, and that it's 5:30 on a Tuesday afternoon, Depresh, it is?
Yeah. We're not a woman, and it's 5:30 on a Tuesday.
Now, what day is it? Tuesday night! Phantom buses and handicapped gremlins are the last things on your mind. That doesn't really sound like a handicap, but I guess it's fine. You've been using Bogota's public transportation system for over 2 decades, and your greatest concern is that traffic levels have become all but unmanageable since the latest mayor took office. Fuck him. However, home is about 80 blocks away, and you ain't walking that, so your only choice is to wait until the right bus comes along. Walking would certainly take longer than putting up with any traffic jam.
When a bus displaying a route sign you're hoping for shows up, Its advertised fare is 200 pesos, lower than the standard going rate these days. This usually indicates that the vehicle in question is older and a bit more uncomfortable than most. But no bus rider in the history of the city has ever given a damn about that. Folks that... I don't give a shit! I just want to go home! Folks that consider themselves richer and above this mode of transportation pay 7 times as much to get around by cab, and statistically expose themselves to a higher chance of being mugged or robbed. More power to them, right?
Never one to avoid seeking further discounts, Depresh. You ask the wizened driver if he'll let you on for 1,000. Damn. I don't know the conversion rate for pesos, but that seems pretty intense. The wrinkled, musty-looking man's eyes never leave the road as he silently takes your bill and slides it in the purse hanging from the bony gear stick. Satisfied, you turn your attention to the cabin. What would make this ride ideal will be an empty seat.
Curiously enough, considering the time of day, there aren't enough passengers aboard for anybody to be standing. A few available spots are in sight, so you choose one on the left, towards the middle. Both the aisle and the window seat are free, and you sigh contently as you sprawl out on one with your knee nested on the other. This particular trip should be over in no time.
Driver's radio is off, and your phone's battery ran out an hour ago. So you pass the time staring out the window and watching vendors ply their wares and car drivers nod along to whatever music they're listening to. Your position eventually starts taking a toll on your back. Those back problems, Depresh. So you straighten up and take the chance to examine your fellow passengers.
Sorry, I want to pause.
None of them seem to...
This story is about a man who's at least 30.
Since when?
In Colombia.
All it said was that you are not a young woman. I mean, come on.
But he's like, I've been taking these buses for the last 2 decades. Yep. I don't give a shit. Yep.
Depresh was born on one of these buses.
Okay.
None of the passengers seem to be riding together, given that everybody's quietly facing the front of the bus. They're also all uncommonly old. Not in the sense that they're all over 100, but they're at least like 26. But in the sense that nobody seems to be under 75. You find this a bit odd, and for a brief moment, the idea that you don't belong there flashes through your mind. It's a silly thought, but combined with the bus's particularly strong, although not necessarily atypical, smell of must and metal, it makes you look forward to the end of the trip. Nevertheless, as there's another 30 or 40 blocks left to go, you look out the window again, zone out, and let your mind go where it will for a while. Thoughts of your mom.
The sight of Pachico's Bakery pulls you out of your...
Hold on, read that one again.
What?
Sorry, that one
Pacho's Bakery. Sorry. The sight of Pacho's Bakery pulls you out of your... What's that word?
Reverie.
Reverie, thank you. Pulls you out of your reverie 20 minutes later. You get up and make your way past the silent companions to the rear exit, where you hunt for a little silver button that will let the driver know you've reached your stop. As you stop it above the door, you realize nobody's boarded or left the vehicle since you got on, which is weird for rush hour. Shrugging it off as an unusual coincidence, you press down the button and grab onto the...
You're sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
What the hell just happened? You look around and see that everybody's still where they were a moment ago. What the fuck was that? Yeah, I have sound effects for this one, Depresh. Because I like this story. What the hell just happened? You look around and see that everybody's still where they were a moment ago. Trying to make eye contact with them is fruitless, since they seem to be lost wherever it is that their old minds wander. The thought of saying something runs through your head, but you decide against it. What would you say anyway? You were probably so zoned out you simply imagined getting up to ring the driver's bell.
That's probably it. Your daydreams are occasionally so vivid that leaving them is downright startling. Besides, you're already 2 blocks past your stop. Call it a weird thing that happened on your way home or whatever, but for now, Just get off the bus. There's no point in having to walk back too far. You, once again depressed, get off your seat and head for the rear exit, somewhat unnerved by the other passengers' stoic disinterest in everything around them.
There's the button, right where you remember it. Except you can't remember it, of course, since you never actually had been back there. You probably saw it when you got on. After grabbing the guardrail, these bastards occasionally decide to stop on a dime when you ring, you look towards the driver, press your thumb on the button.
You're sitting in your seat, facing the front of the bus.
A piercing chill runs down your spine. Instead of fading away, it spreads through every one of your extremities. It's not a shift in body or ambient temperature, it's the chill you feel when you're suddenly consumed by the level of fear that slightly precedes terror. Something really messed up is going on here. You don't know what it is, but you want out. You don't want to be here anymore. A feeling of bitter solitude is now gnawing at your mind. Whatever these people around you are thinking, they clearly don't give a damn about what's happening to you.
Therefore, you once again decide to avoid saying anything and simply lift yourself off the seat, not processing the fact that you did it with less agility than should have been the case. All you want right now is to get off the bus. Besides, it's already advanced more than 10 blocks past your street, which suddenly feels like a distastefully long distance to walk. This is all secondary to the point at hand. However, you have to get off this damn thing.
As you make your way back, an old lady in the back row looks up at you. Her expression tells you nothing, but the way it fixes on you, on your torso to be precise, she's checking out my pecs. As if you're just another chunk of the vehicle. Of the vehicle further spikes the almost overpowering sense of dread now coursing through your veins. Whatever, you can't panic, not now. You, standing at the back of the bus, and instead of going for the button, yell at the driver. You yell at him to stop, to let you off. You've already rung twice, but nothing's come of it. You curse at him, tell him he will die. This part's a little dramatic. You tell him that what he will die of, and wish great evil upon his kin, but the door remains unmoved. The man is not listening, or he doesn't care, or he doesn't want you to get off, but you don't give a damn what he wants or doesn't want, so you just grab onto the bars, take a step back for momentum, and send a solid kick right onto the hinges that...
You are sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
It takes a moment to register. Maybe more than that. Maybe it's a full minute. As you realize that the bus doesn't want you to leave. You also realize that your right knee hurts with an unnatural, piercing sharpness. It's the same leg you used against the door, but now it feels like it's all but broken. This quickly becomes a distant concern when you attempt to massage it, though, because that's when you notice your hands.
Advertisements. These are not the hands of a young depresh. They are wrinkly, set with well-defined veins, and even lightly patched with liver spots. As you study your hands and arms, cold terror envelops every corner of your psyche. You touch your face and feel wrinkles and whiskers that didn't previously exist upon your cheekbones. Your head is patched with a few anemic strands of hair. As your fingertips graze your coarse scalp, a spark of electricity shoots through it and down to the most private recesses of your being. Your eyes dry up, opened wide and unbelieving, and you feel a 7-ton lump of horror coalesce in your otherwise paralyzed throat.
You must leave this evil bus. You must leave it at once before it finishes what it's begun. You carefully make your way off your seat. No need for further entry, and head towards the front. Towards the driver. Perhaps you can reason with him. Or perhaps you can club him to death with a flashlight or something, since there's always a variety of trinkets and gadgets in the front of the...
You are sitting in your seat facing the front of the bus.
It takes a good 5 or 10 minutes for you to come to terms with what is happening to you. To understand that your life is vanishing before your eyes. Your hands are now like those of your grandmother, and your back hurts from its base all the way to your neck, and your eyes can barely focus on the signs posted above the windows. Even your mind isn't as sharp as it should be. It takes you a while to determine that you should make another attempt for the exit.
Perhaps violence is not the answer. Perhaps you can gently pull it open. Perhaps if you treat the bus like a living, gentle being instead of like a demonic machine, it'll let you out. Perhaps?
The old woman is looking at you again. You notice her blue jacket, which is much too big for her. If it were a blouse of the same size, it would hang loosely off her gaunt frame. A tiny, hesitant tear forms on her frail face. Then it follows a meandering path down to her ancient features to land on her wrist with eerie finality. There's a red Toto watch around that wrist, the sort that is currently all the rage with kids graduating from high school.
Examine the door. 2 panes joined by a vertical line of hinges, coated on the right by a rubber pad to avoid contact damage, like kicking it. The door is slightly bent inwards, and as you notice, there's a glimmer of hope runs through you. Maybe if you can just insert...
You're sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
What the fuck's going on? My hands, they are old. My hands are the hands of an old man, not of my grandfather, of an old man. The man behind you starts when you turn to him and yell at him and grab his face and scream at him to let you off. He mouths something you don't understand. His teeth is blood. Your teeth. Oh my god, my teeth are like tiny. They are dust there. What the hell? How long have I been here? Fuck, this is I'm breaking the window with my elbow. Leave my brace. I don't want to die here. No more!
You're sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
For a long time, you glance down at your hands. They are the gnarled, rheumatic, old, blood-splattered claws of a hag that's seen more than one generation's share of horrors.
A hag? A hag is not the right word. A hag is a woman, right? At least so it was in Mother's stories, like those of La Patisola. Your knee still hurts, but not as much as your elbow. It feels like it's shattered. Ah, yes, this bus. You must get off it. You know you must get off it now. You do not remember why you must, but it is imperative that you do. It's urgent. It was urgent. But you're so tired.
You try to lift yourself off the seat, but your knee buckles under your weight. It's by chance that you fall back on the bench. You must get off the bus. You remember these buses. They used to take you to work. You steady yourself on the bench. You will try to get off the bus, but in a moment, you must rest. The bus can wait.
You're sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
You are sitting on your seat, facing the front of the bus.
The end.
Damn.
Isn't that one cool?
I like that. Yeah. It's a little like, as soon as you get on everybody's old, it's like, okay, I know where this is going, but I really like the presentation of it.
Yeah.
It's a great way to do it.
You didn't hear, but I had a bell sound effect that I was playing every time.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I really like that one, so I was like,
Yeah,
I gotta
fun.
treat this one right. I remember being a kid, and I listened to a lot of these, and I wouldn't say a lot of them really scared me, but for some reason that one I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get on a bus and die. Which is weird because we didn't have public transit in my hometown.
Oh, right.
So maybe that's why it was extra scary.
I get that feeling though, because even I'm going to miss my stop feeling is terrible. But I'm going to miss my stop because I can't move anymore is even worse.
Because
and if I do miss this
old.
stop, I guess I'm going to be ancient next time, huh?
Yeah. When I first moved to to Guelph for school, the first time I got on a bus, I remember thinking of this story, and I think it was the first time I was on a bus, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. And I didn't, and I'm like, this is nice. So yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Do you have one you would like to read?
Sure. Now, I'm going to branch out a little bit here. I do like our creepypastas, but I would love to read an actual scary story for a hot second.
Oh.
This is The Pale Man by Julius Long. It was written in 1934.
Oh.
I have not yet met the man in number 212. I don't even know his name. He never patronizes the hotel restaurant, and he does not use the lobby. On the 3 occasions when we passed each other by, we did not speak, although we nodded in a semi-cordial, non-committal way. I should like very much to make his acquaintance. It is lonesome in this dreary place. With the exception of the aged lady down the corridor, the only permanent guests are the man in 212 and myself. However, I should not complain, for this utter quiet is precisely what the doctor prescribed. I wonder if the man in number 212 too has come here for a rest. He's so very pale. Yet I cannot believe that he is ill, for his paleness is not a sickly cast, but rather wholesome in its ivory clarity. His carriage is that of a man enjoying the best of his health. He's tall and straight, he walks erectly and with a brisk, athletic stride. You can all stop giggling about erectly for a hot second. His pallor is no doubt congenital, yet he would quickly tan under this burning summer sun. He must have traveled here by automobile, 1934, for he certainly was not a passenger on the train that had brought me, and he checked in only a short time after my arrival. I had briefly rested in my room and was walking down the stairs when I encountered him ascending with his bag. It's odd that our venerable bellboy did not show him to his room. It's odd, too, that with so many vacant rooms in the hotel, he would have chosen number 212 at the extreme rear. I'll tell you about my extreme rear. The building's a long, narrow affair, only 3 stories high. The rooms are all on the east side, as the west wall is flush with a decrepit business building. The corridor is long, drab, and its stiff, bloated paper exudes a musty, unpleasant odor. The feeble electric bulbs that light it shine dimly as from a tomb. Revolted by this corridor, I insisted vigorously upon being given number 201, which is at the front and blessed with southern exposure. The room clerk, a disagreeable fellow with a Hitler mustache, was very reluctant to let me have it, as it is ordinarily reserved for his more profitable transient trade. I fear my stubborn insistence has made him an enemy of mine. If only I'd been as self-assertive 30 years ago. I should now be as a full-fledged professor instead of a broken-down assistant. I still smart from the cavalier manner in which the president of the university summarily recommended my vacation. No doubt he acted for my best interests. The people who have dominated my poor life invariably have. Oh well, the summer's rest will probably do me considerable good. It's pleasant to be away from the university. There's something positively gratifying about the absence of the graduate student face. If only it were not so lonely. I must devise a way of meeting the pale man in number 212. Perhaps the room clerk can arrange matters. I have been here exactly a week, and if there is a friendly soul in this miserable little town, he's escaped my notice. Although the tradespeople accept my money with flattering eagerness, they studiously avoid even the most casual conversation. I am afraid I can never cultivate their society unless I can arrange to have my ancestors recognized as local residents for the last 150 years. Despite the coolness of my reception, I have been frequently venturing abroad. In the back of my mind, I have cherished hopes that I might encounter the pale man in number 211. Incidentally, I wonder why he's moved from 212. There's certainly little advantage in coming only 1 room nearer to the front. I noticed the change yesterday when I saw him coming out of his new room. We nodded again, and this time I thought I detected a certain malign satisfaction in his somber black eyes. He must know that I'm eager to make his acquaintance, yet his manner forbids overtures. If he wants to make me go all the way, he can go to the devil. I'm not the sort to run after anybody. Indeed, the surly diffidence of the room clerk has been enough to prevent me from questioning about this mysterious guest. I wonder where the pale man takes his meals. I've been absenting myself from the hotel restaurant and patronizing the restaurants outside. At each I have ventured inquiries about the man in number 210. No one at any restaurant remembered his having been there. Perhaps he has entree to the Brahmin homes of this town, and again he may have found a boarding house somewhere else. I shall have to learn if there is one. The pale man must be difficult to please, for he has again changed his room. I'm baffled by his conduct. If he's so desirous of locating himself more conveniently in the hotel, why does he not move to 202, which is the nearest available room to the front? Perhaps I can make his inability to locate himself permanently an excuse for starting a conversation. Oh, I see we're closer neighbors now, I might casually say. That's too banal. I must wait for a better opportunity. He's done it again. He's now occupying number 209. I'm intrigued by his little game. I waste hours trying to fathom his point. What possible motive could he have? I should think we would get along. I think he would get on the hotel people's nerves. I wonder what our combination bellhop chambermaid thinks of having to prepare 4 rooms for a single guest. If he were not stone deaf, I would ask him. At present, I feel too exhausted to attempt at such an enervating conversation. But I'm tremendously interested in the Pale Man's next move.
Oops, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, yes. Stuff hydrate, yes. Thank you. Cheers, Pumpkin.
We're quite parched. Also, I want to... Sidebar.
No, about the snoo, we shall not.
Oh! Okay. That was going to be my second question.
What was the first one?
First one, not really a question. This man is very thirsty for this pale guy.
He is. In 1934, he cannot express it. He's just like, the fuck?
He's just like, I gotta talk to this man.
To be fair, I have felt this before, of like, when you're kind of alone and you're like, God, I want that guy seems like he'd be cool. How do I make friends with this person?
But it's just like I spend hours thinking about him, and I'm like, whoa, bring back, buddy.
Back up.
Old-timey simp, yes. Okay, carry on.
Exactly.
Carry on.
He's done it again. He's now occupying number 209. I'm intrigued by his little game. I think I've read this bit already. Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm tremendously interested in the Pale Man's next move, is where I am.
Yes.
He must either skip a room or remain where he is for a permanent guest. For a very old lady occupies number 208. She has not budged from her room since I've been here, and I imagine that she does not intend to. I wonder what the Pale Man will do. I await his decision with the nervous excitement of a devotee of the track on the eve of a big race. Ooh, after all, I have so little diversion from this. Well, the mysterious guest was not forced to remain where he was, nor did he have to skip a room. The lady in number 208 simplified matters by conveniently dying. No one knows the cause of her death, but it's generally attributed to old age. She was buried this morning. I was among the curious few who attended her funeral. When I returned home from the mortuary, I was in time to see the Pale Man leaving her room. Already he's moved in. He favored me with a smile whose meaning I have tried in vain to decipher. I cannot but believe that he meant it to have some significance. He acted as if there were between us some secret that I failed to appreciate. But then, perhaps his smile was meaningless after all, and
is this what being gay in the 30s is like?
Yes, absolutely. Perhaps the smile was meaningless after all, and only ambiguous by chance like that of the Mona Lisa. My man of mystery, as I've suddenly taken to calling him.
Oh my god.
Now resides in number 207, and I am not the least surprised. I would have been astonished if he had not made a scheduled move. I had almost given up trying to understand his eccentric conduct. I do not know a single thing more about him than I knew the day he arrived. I wonder whence he came. There is something indefinably foreign about his manner. I'm curious to hear his voice. I like to imagine that he speaks in the exotic tongue of some faraway country. If only I could somehow inveigle, ooh, that's not a real word anymore, inveigle him into conversation. I wish that I were possessed of the glib assurance of a college boy who can address himself to the most distinguished celebrity without batting an eye. It's no wonder that I'm only an assistant professor. Now I am growing worried. This morning I awoke to find myself lying prone upon the floor. I was fully clothed. I must have fallen exhausted there after returning to my room last night. I wonder if my condition's more serious than I suspected. Until now I've been inclined to discount the fears of those who have pulled a long face about me. For the first time I recalled the prolonged hand clasp of the president when he bade me goodbye to the university. Obviously he's never expected to see me alive again. Of course I am not that unwell. Nevertheless, I must be more careful. Thank heavens I have no dependents to worry about. Not even a wife. I was never willing to exchange the loneliness of a bachelor for the loneliness of a husband.
He doesn't have a wife, eh?
Very interesting. I can say, in all sincerity, that the prospect of death does not frighten me, though. Speculation about life beyond the grave has always bored me. Whatever it is, or is not, I'll try and get along. I have been so preoccupied about this sudden turn of my own affairs, I've neglected to make note of a most extraordinary incident. The Pale Man's done an astounding thing. He skipped 3 whole rooms and moved all the way to number 203. We're now nearly neighbors. We shall meet oftener, and my chances for making his acquaintance are now greater. I've confined myself to my bed during the last few days, and have had my food brought to me. I even called a local doctor, whom I suspect to be a quack. He looked me over with professional indifference and told me not to leave my room. For some reason, he does not want me to climb stairs. For this bit of information, he received a $10 bill, which, as I directed him, he fished out of my coat pocket. A pickpocket could not have done it better. He's not been gone long when I was visited by the room clerk. That worthy suggested, with a great show of kindly concern, that I use the facilities of the local hospital. It was so modern and all that. With more firmness than I've ever been able to muster in a long time, I gave him to understand that I intended to remain where I am. Frowning sullenly, he stiffly retired. The doctor must have paused long enough downstairs to tell him a pretty story. It's obvious that he's afraid I shall die in his best room. The Pale Man's up to his old tricks, too. Last night when I tottered down the hall, the door of room 202 was ajar. Without thinking, I looked inside. The Pale Man sat in a rocking chair, idly smoking a cigarette.
Ooh.
He looked up into my eyes and smiled that peculiar, ambiguous smile that so deeply puzzled me. I moved on down the corridor, not so much mystified as annoyed. The whole mystery of the man's conduct is beginning to irk me. It's all so insane, so utterly lacking in motive. I fear that I should never meet the Pale Man. But at least I'm going to learn his identity. Tomorrow I shall ask for the room clerk and deliberately interrogate me. I know now. I know the identity of the Pale Man, and I know the meaning of his smile. Early this afternoon I summoned the room clerk to my bedside. Please, please tell me, I asked abruptly, who is the man in number 202? The clerk stared warily and uncomprehendingly. You must be mistaken. That room is unoccupied.
Ah!
Oh, but it is, I snapped in irritation. I myself saw the man there only 2 nights ago. He is a tall, handsome fellow with dark eyes and hair. He is unusually pale. He checked in the day that I arrived. The hotel man regarded me dubiously, as if I were trying to impose upon him. But I assure you, there's no such person in this house. As for his checking in when you did, you were the only guest we registered that day. What? I've seen him 20 times. First he had number 212 at the end of the corridor, then he kept moving towards the front, and now he's next door in number 202. The room clerk threw up his hands. You're crazy, he exclaimed, and I saw what he meant. I saw that he meant what he said. I shut up at once and dismissed him. After he had gone, I heard him rattling the knob of the Pale Man's door. There's no doubt that he believes the room to be empty. Thus it is that I can now understand the events of the past few days. I now comprehend the significance of the death in number 207. I even feel partly responsible for the old lady's passing. After all, I brought this Pale Man with me. But it was not I who fixed his path. Why he chose to approach me room after room through the length of this dreary hotel. Why his path crossed the threshold of the woman in number 207. Those mysteries I cannot explain. I suppose I should have guessed his identity when he skipped the 3 rooms the night I fell unconscious on the floor. In a single night of triumph, he advanced until he was almost at my door. He will be coming by. He will inhabit this room, his ultimate goal. When he comes, I shall at least be able to return his smile of grim recognition, and meanwhile I have only to wait beyond my bolted door. Until the door swings slowly open.
Ooh.
That's how it ends.
Ooh. I like it.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
The Pale Man was death.
They were dead! which is both a time-honored classic cliche tradition and also something that Creepypasta would never have the balls to do, you know? Just be like, it's just Death himself.
Yeah, because you know, like, at the end, they'd be like, "'Cause the pale man..." Like, they wouldn't be able to hold back.
Yeah.
And then, like, he'd burst in, and then they'd have, like, a very deep philosophical conversation that's not really philosophical at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even Mr. Long here, who doesn't, like, he doesn't even say it in the end.
Yeah,
I
it's
like clearly
that.
Death. He's just like, I understand, and now I'm gone.
Yeah, I like that. It was good.
Yeah.
It was, sorry, what was the author's name?
Julius Long.
Does
But
he
when you
write
try
a
to search
lot
his
of-
name, there's a boxer instead. So
Is there, does he write a lot of short horror?
I have no idea. I've just found that one online.
Ooh. I like it.
Apparently, that might be like his main story. Apparently,
Yeah.
his most well known. Yeah.
So good. Yes.
That's a lot
Alright.
of fun here. Yeah, he's got a couple here, but yeah, that's the one I like.
Yeah. Alright, so you're making out with your honey. What do I have here? Okay, I got one that's a little silly.
You gotta give it a slightly silly voice then.
No. I can't. This
We're
one
trying to give a different voice for each one of these characters. Come on, give me some.
Okay. So this one's an SCP
Oh, nice.
story, which a lot of people give SCP more credit than I feel like it deserves. Because they're like, it's such a cool project, but like half of them are really stupid.
They're definitely more. I mean, I've seen the video game more than anything else, and some of them definitely are scarier when it's just behind you, when you're like, well, never mind. Okay.
Yeah, like some of them are really cool,
Mhm.
but this one is some of them are really goofy.
Okay.
All right, a silly voice. How do I?
Just a voice of some sort. Give us something. Give us an accent.
SCP-677. Object class, safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-677 is currently in the vicinity of Saturn's orbit. Due to its attraction to Earth, it is expected to land back on the planet by the year 2000 redacted. At least one telescope is trained on
As an
SCP...
XTX.
Yeah. What, Cyberpunk 2077.
2077. The distant future of 1993.
The distant future of 1807. Anyway. At least one telescope will be trained on SCP-677 to monitor its movement. When re-entry occurs, a team will be dispatched to cover the object, whereupon it will be dismantled and returned to its storage locker at site redacted. Description: SCP-677 is a silver, redacted, brand pogo stick that has significantly visible wear.
Space pogo stick?
Yeah! It's a pogo stick in space!
Jesus Christ.
I literally went into SCP, I typed in a random number, and this came up, and I read it. I read that first part, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Oh god, this should be our drawing stream. We should just look up random numbers and read the first sentence and be like, alright, draw it.
But I read the first part, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Description: it's a pogo stick. What?
Jesus Christ. In space?
In space, in Saturn's orbit. Anyway, continuing with the description. I like that the brand is redacted, too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Are there pogo brands? Like, what is
Maybe.
this? There must be, but...
Okay. Anyway, SCP-677 is a silver redacted brand pogo stick that is significantly visible wear. Etched onto the side is an engraving reading, "For Mike, happy travels." SCP-677's frame appears to be indestructible by all normal means, though it can be dismantled. The spring itself, oddly, is easily broken, though it can be replaced with any spring that will fit around the SCP's shaft. The type of spring... I knew it. I knew you couldn't let it go.
It's been in so many of these stories already, and we haven't said anything. Like, now's my chance.
The type of spring used appears to have no effect on SCP-677's mechanics, so long as it's unbroken. When used, SCP-677 will immediately jump to unpredictable heights and speeds, regardless of the degree of power applied to the jump. Various heights, ranging from 2 centimeters upward, have been recorded, and the highest obtained speed to date, based on calculations of SCP-677's current trajectory, is redacted, because they didn't want to come up with a real speed.
Stupid. It's gotta be speedy enough to launch it into space, so...
Oh, yeah, I guess that's why that's there.
Jeez.
Maximum attainable speed is unknown. Additionally, due to some unknown... Hang on, I just want to... They didn't tell us how high it jumps. It just says various heights ranging from 2 centimeters upward.
Yeah.
So
all the way to Saturn, obviously.
all the way to Saturn. Sorry, I just wanted to check something. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Additionally, due to some unknown mechanic, SCP-677 always lands within redacted meters of its original launch position, regardless of the time, direction of speed, or its trajectory. There's one line that's crossed out that says, recreational use of SCP-677 is strictly prohibited. But that part's crossed out, so you can use it recreationally now. Note, there was a reason for that warning. Dr. Mentha recorded after incident 684-0034X. Oh boy. Oh, and here's a description of the event.
Oh, sure.
With the permission of Agent Redacted, personnel 2/677 removed SCP-677 from containment and assembled it, claiming that he was gonna break the world record for extreme pogo. After donning a parachute and attaching several restraining devices to him and SCP-677, personnel 2-677 began jumping. After 8 such jumps of varying heights, SCP-677 immediately shot into air, breaking its restraints and data expunged. Personnel 2-677 was given medical treatment and severely disciplined.
Disciplined.
And that's it.
Hot. Wow. They sure don't write them like they used to, huh?
And and people are like, man, SCP is such a great, creative website.
I mean, it's definitely creative, because, I mean, where else can you do the pogo stick from space?
I do kind of like this one, in a weird way, because I find, I don't know, I find SCPs always take themselves very seriously, and this one seems to just, it takes itself seriously in kind of the same ways with, specific data being redacted and shit like that, but then, but then it's just this one guy just was like, I'm gonna pogo. Fuck it.
I might have missed it, but, was there any evidence of, it's gonna come back someday?
It just says it is expected to land.
Okay.
I think because they make a comment of
because I really like the energy of the creepy story just being it's still up there. It's like, there it is.
It's up there. There's one line where it always lands within blank meters of its original launch position, so I think
Okay.
it's expected to land back on the planet by the year 2077.
Right.
I'm not sure how they got to that number, but I also don't like how they don't tell us how it got into fucking Saturn.
I guess just that it bounces really high, I guess.
I guess. Yeah,
That's wild.
There's no other information on this one. But
20, what was the number again?
677.
677. I really want to see if there's fan art
There's no
of a pogo stick in space.
There's no picture on the website. Usually they have like a little official picture.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no picture on this one.
Yeah, and all the Google images. Well, one of them is just a picture of a pogo stick, and then all the other ones are just like other things, other numbers.
Yeah. The only I should
There's
say
a small dog here, and it's labeled SCP-3387.
I wonder
Just
what.
a puppy.
It's just a puppy. I'm gonna look up SCP-666. Wait.
Also, some of these are like
The only one that came up was SCP-666 and a half.
and a half. They skipped the number. How dare.
Oh, this one's kind of long.
Alright. That's pretty wild, though. That's my first real SCP story, I guess. I don't think I've actually heard any of the stories. I know some of the characters,
Yeah.
and that's really what they are, you know?
Yeah, they're
it's
just...
not like... Yeah, they're not like horror icons or anything. They're just like Overwatch characters who just like collect them all. Are you playing as creepy baby thing? Yeah, I'm playing as Siren Head.
Siren Head, fun fact, isn't originally an SCP. SCP
yeah.
stole Siren Head, which makes me
I
sad.
do remember that.
Because it was a character created by cool guy Trevor Henderson.
Nice. Siren Head really makes me laugh. Like, that's one of the few that I can't take seriously for sure.
Oh, I really like Siren Head, though.
I really like the way it looks, but like the little circle's just full of teeth and a little tongue in the middle, and I'm just like, the fuck is that? Because I can't imagine those mouths doing anything like ladle the whole time.
I just like
alright.
I like pictures of because he's supposed to be like really fucking tall. So I like the ones where it's just like it's him, assuming Siren Head is a boy, them, I guess.
It.
But yeah, Siren Head just like amongst the trees and shit like that. And I like the idea of just like you're just kind of camping in the woods, and then all of a sudden you just hear like a nuclear alarm, and you're like, what is that? And you look up, and there's a tall, bony shit staring at you. I'm like, okay.
Right.
I don't know. I really like the look of it. And I've seen too many weird-ass Siren Head. Yeah, I know that for some reason Siren Head got really popular on TikTok. And there's one that looks kind of cool. Of like, it's like him in the street.
Uh-huh.
And he's kind of far away and stuff.
Is he dancing, or?
There is one where he's dancing. That someone made. Which is and it's like, he's playing the Fortnite sound through his snoot. And, for lack of a better word. And it's like, it's got like the distant echoey thing to it, but it's still the Fortnite.
I think I have seen that.
Damn. But it's like, it's all echoey and shit. Just like, okay.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Alright, ready for another?
Yeah.
This one's short. I found this one a while back. It's called I Told You to Smile.
Okay.
Which is just very forceful.
Okay.
I gotta find a voice for this one. It was the 2nd of January, 2:04 a.m. I woke up to a knocking on the door. One knock every 3 seconds. I slipped on my slippers and walked to the stairs. As I walked down, the knocking on the door got faster, almost like a heartbeat. When I got to the door, the knocking stopped. Knocking stopped!
Okay!
I looked outside and nobody was there. I went back up to my room and went back to bed, thinking it was just some kids playing a prank. At 4:21 a.m., 4:20, I woke up to find the front door slamming shut. I jumped, terrified. I looked over at my frosted window to find "Smile" written all over it in the frost. I grabbed my phone next to me, ready to call 911, only to find a message written on it, saying, "I told you to smile." I cried and ran for my life, running outside. As soon as I got outside, I knocked on my neighbor's house across the road. They answered and held me while I sobbed. They phoned the police.
What a baby.
At exactly 5:42, the police came to my neighbor's house after an extensive search of my house. They told me they had seen no evidence at all of anyone in my house other than me. The messages on the window were gone, same with my phone. They told me to get some sleep and advised me to see the doctor about stress and anxiety problems. Fuck that. I knew what happened to me was real. The following evening, after spending the day with my neighbors, I went home. I went up to my bedroom and set up a camera. It was aimed at my bedroom door and my bed. I set it to record and went to sleep. Thankfully, I slept through the night. However, as I watched the footage, I couldn't believe what I saw. At 3 in the morning, something crawled out from under my bed.
Ooh.
It was a completely naked, incredibly thin man. He stood up and looked at me on the bed. He did this for over an hour, not moving at all. And then he moved. He walked over to the camera
Sorry.
until...
He didn't move at all! And then he moved!
And then he moved.
Sorry.
He didn't, not moving at all for an hour, and then he moved. That's
Okay.
the deal
Yeah,
here.
no, just the way it was worded.
Yeah. He walked over to the camera until his face took up the whole shot. He was extremely pale and had bulging veins all over his head. His eyes were completely black, with a huge smile on his face. He stared at the camera for another 2 hours, not blinking, just slightly twisting his head every now and again. After 2 hours of him staring went past, he walked back to my bed and crawled back under. I skipped the video forward until it showed me getting up and walking over to the camera to watch it. The video finished. I was frozen with fear. The video showed him going back under, but not leaving.
Ah!
Whatever it was still there.
Ah!
That's it.
Ah! Ah! Sorry. I remember that one actually from when.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I saw that it was short, gave it a quick little read over, saw the last line, and was like, fuck it! Let's go!
I like that one. I like that one.
Yeah.
He
Like
just-
this site got a bunch of creepypastas and it sorts them by size, which is nice. So there's a bunch
Ooh.
of small ones down here. I wonder if I can sort by rating and find the worst one.
The shortest, worst one. 2 cents horror. That's bad. All right.
You said its horrors are never bad.
Okay. Sonic woke up and looked at the clock.
Oh god, high school Sonic, no!
Never mind. I won't read that one. Okay. Though I have one. It's kind of like an urban legend-y type thing. I couldn't find like the original telling of it, so I'm not sure if this one is good. But
Yeah.
a man went to a hotel and walked up to the front desk to check in. The woman at the desk gave him his key and told him that on his way to his room, there will be a door with no number on it. And that door was locked, and no one was allowed in there. Especially, no one should look inside the room, under any circumstances. He followed the instructions of the woman at the front desk, going straight to his room and going to bed.
Nice.
The end? No.
He had a lovely sleep and had breakfast the next morning. It was continental.
That'd be a good creepypasta. Just like they actually listen to what the harbinger says, of just being like,
Oh, that's gonna be the one I write for next reading.
"Don't go in that room."
Okay.
And I said okay, and then I went straight to my room. I watched the hockey game on TV, and then I went to bed. The end.
No writing that.
But this guy does not do that, because the next night his curiosity would not leave him alone about the room with no number on the door. He walked down the hall to the door and tried the handle. Sure enough, it was locked. He bent down and looked through the wide keyhole. Cold air passed through it, chilling his eye. What he saw...
His eye.
What he saw was yeah, his eye got really cold. What he saw was a hotel bedroom, like his. And in the corner, a woman whose skin was completely white. She was leaning her head against the wall, facing away from the door. He stared in confusion for a while. He almost knocked on the door, out of curiosity, but decided not to. This disinclination saved him his life. He crept away from the door. Spoiler alert, by the way, I guess. He crept away from the door and walked back to his room. The next day, he returned to the door and looked through the wide keyhole. This time, all he saw was redness.
Ooh.
He couldn't make out anything besides a distinct color red, unmoving. Perhaps the inhabitants of the room knew he was spying the night before and blocked the keyhole with something red. At this point, he decided to consult the woman at the front desk for more information. She sighed and said, "Did you look through the keyhole?" The man told her that he had, and she said,
Yeah.
"Well, I might as well tell you. A long time ago, a man murdered his wife in that room, and her ghost haunts it. But these people were not ordinary. They were white all over, except for their eyes, which were red." The end.
Wow.
Wow!
They were red.
She was looking in the fucking eye hole!
Oh, shit.
I like that one.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah. White people do be scary, though. Yeah.
Pretty scary.
Alright. What do you got?
McGreal! It has been a long time since I've heard of a friendly face in the neighborhood. McGreal is a kind-hearted spirit with a happy face that can give children joy, and a beige-colored suit and a fedora hat. Covering his medium-length jet black hair, he starts by selecting random people's doors, saying, "It's your lucky day!" and playing a game, whether alone or with family. It doesn't matter, he simply just wants to have fun. You may be rewarded, you may get a consequence, depending on your tone and answers. To summon McGreal, all you have to do is clap your hands 4 times. At the end of those claps, you chant these words. "Finn, Finn, may I be cleansed of sin. McGreal, play with me so I may see what I win." But you can only do this once per month, or if you're the winner, he will never come back to play. But he may be there to visit, to see how well you've been treating your prize. The game is quite simple. Answer 4 general random questions of life correctly, and you will be gifted with whatever object you would want. However, you need to be very specific on the prize, or you may get stuck with a random gift. Either better or worse, depending on your luck. If you lose, there's no need to fret. He will never harm you or your family or anyone close to you. Depending on your own reactions towards McGreal, he would give you the stature of respect and say, "Better luck next year." However, if you show harsh rage or judgmental reaction, he will simply force you to change what you say, delving into and torturing your mind with harsh mental images to give discipline. But don't worry, he won't kill you. It's not his style. But there is one way to increase your chances of winning, so even after losing, you may still get something out of it. Before you would like to start the game, you could offer him something for his long travels. cup of tea, a sandwich, anything generous as food or drink, he can give you something in return. And even if you lose the questions, he would take off his hat and give you a better offer instead. Anything that your heart desires. Not just objects, not just money. It can be anything that is deemed impossible for human achievement. He rewards this to you because you increased his faith in humanity a step further, knowing there are still good people in this world. But that would also mean that you would never see that kindred soul again until you lie on your deathbed by whatever illness or age you have. He will simply remove his hat and his mask, revealing his face to you. But before you could explain it to everyone, you would instantly pass peacefully. And on the other side, he would be your guide in the afterlife, making you the best of friends.
What?
So that's McGreal.
What the fuck was that?
That's McGreal, who I learned about through a Jenny Nicholson video.
Oh!
Yeah, that's one of those rituals you can do on the internet. You can summon him, and the only real consequence of doing it wrong, I guess, are that you can't see McGreal ever again. He shows up, gives you a family trivia night, and then bounces. And if you lose, or no, if you win, then you get a prize. And if you lose, then you get a better prize. It's just the dumbest thing. But I wanted to read it because there's comments on this site.
Oh.
And one of them, by McGreal Lover XOXO,
Oh, God.
posted in 2018, I am beyond offended. I tried this booty-ass ritual over 3 times. 4 times! McGreal never showed up. I created an account in his honor before the ritual, so that once it happened, I could come to the comment section and let everyone know about the amazing wonders that he is capable of doing. And then there's like 7, they press return like 7 times, so there's this huge gap. But instead, I only received silence and disappointment. My friends were so excited to see what McGreal was like, but instead they were filled with tears and sad. I even brought an ethnical drink from my home country for him, and now it's flat and lukewarm. I moved to the US for this purpose, and this is the poop I get. Do not try playing this game. You will waste your time, and the only thing you will get out of it will be tears. 0 out of 10 for this ritual. P.S. My English isn't good. Sorry, not sorry. And then they commented again, guys, I'm really sad. And then they commented one more time, and it said, McGreal, more like McLies, with an angry frowny face. And so I had to read that.
Wow.
Then they went and started commenting on other people's things.
Oh, like on other people's comments?
Yeah, like someone said, I'd like to do this, but something's unclear for me. Do I clap and say fin thing after each clap, or clap 4 times and then say it? And they commented, don't even bother clapping. You are wasting energy. McGrill doesn't exist. P.S. Yes, I misspelled his name, but I don't care because he doesn't exist.
Wow. I hate those ritual ones. Like I always have, because it's like
I usually hate them because they're very like, they always say like, don't do this or you'll die, and then
give you like a step-by-step on how to do it.
I'm like, why would I do this then?
But usually like they don't even have like a reward or anything. Mm-hmm. Like at least McGrill gives you something. Like, yeah. But like, I
mean, like Bloody Mary supposedly tells you your future or whatever.
Oh, does she?
Like, yeah, there's some sort of thing like that.
Have you ever done the Bloody Mary?
We've discussed this when we went to see Candyman.
Oh, right.
Absolutely not. I will say I am all there's no such thing as ghosts until you say Bloody Mary the second time. And I'm like, all right, I'm out.
I gotta go.
My goal in the horror movie of life is to not be the guy who's like, I don't believe in ghosts, and then die. You know? I'm like, I don't believe in ghosts, but I am absolutely carrying this bat to the bathroom.
But also, what was that noise? I'm scared. I feel like if it were a horror movie, I feel like I'd be like the jock character.
Oh, sure.
That would be like, the ghost is real. Let's do the thing to summon the ghost. Like, because immediately after we saw Candyman, I ran to the bathroom and said Candyman in the mirror 5 times, and nothing happened.
And then you immediately got a parasite.
And then I got very sick, but
Yeah.
I didn't die. I didn't die viscerally.
You didn't die.
Like all.
Candyman just warned you to spread his story.
Okay.
Just like McGreal.
just like MacGruber. Does it say what McGreal is?
Nope. It's a tall guy with, what did it say? He's just a friendly face.
He's just some
kind-hearted
dude.
spirit with a happy mask, beige-colored suit, and a fedora hat. He's just a dude.
He's just some guy.
You don't get to see his real face until you die. But hey, what you gonna do?
I found one.
Hmm.
That is titled, My Dead Girlfriend Keeps Messaging Me on Facebook.
Oh.
And I think I would like you to voice the girlfriend.
Oh my god, where's the disc?
Okay. I didn't read this one before. I just was like, just looking for other stuff, and I was like, that looks like a stupid title. Alright. I will boot up the music again. Ahem. My girlfriend Emily died. Oh God! Emily, no! My girlfriend Emily died on August 7th of 2012.
Oh, rough year.
That's today. I just received another message, and it's worse than the others. Wait. Is this a continuation of something? Oh well. She was involved in 3 car crash. Sorry, I can't read all of a sudden. She was involved in a 3-car crash driving home from work when someone ran a red light. She was dead within minutes at the scene. We had been dating for 5 years at that point. She wasn't big on the idea of marriage. It felt archaic, she said, and gave her a weird vibe. But if she had been, I would have married her within 3 months of our relationship. Red flag. She was vibrant, the kind of girl that would choose dare every time. She was always happy when camping, but a total technophile too. She always smelled like cinnamon. That being said, she wasn't perfect, despite her cinnamon smell. She always said something along the lines of, "If I cark it first, don't just say good things about me. I never like that. If you don't pay me out, you're doing me a disservice. I've got so many flaws, and that's just another part of me."
Arc it.
Cark it. I like
I've
that.
never heard that one.
So this is for M. The music she said she liked and the music she actually liked were very different. Her idea of affection was a side hug. She had really long toes, like a chimpanzee.
And I spent so long staring at them.
I know.
That's such a you're close, but no cigar sort of argument.
The worst things I can say about her are she had long toes.
Very long toes. So of course I dumped her.
So I'm glad that bitch is dead. Anyway. I know. That's tangential.
Tangential. Tangential. What have you done to me?
But I don't feel right without you having an idea of what she was like. Wait. I don't feel right without you having an idea of what she was like. M had been dead for approaching 13 months when she first messaged me. Who is this? It's really weird receiving messages from Emily's account. Question mark, question mark. Okay, Well, in the future, please send me messages from your account, even if you want to discuss her page.
Hello?
Susan, are you on Emily's account? This is when it began. I had left Emily's Facebook account activated, so I could send her the occasional message, post on her wall, go through her pictures. It felt too final and too un-Emily to memorize it. I share access with her mother, Susan, meaning... Wait. Meaning her mother has her login and password, and has spent a total of 3 minutes on the account. Or... This is written so weird. Is it just me?
Total. On a computer. No, you're right.
Yeah. After a little confusion, I thought it was her.
Hello? Let's hit up the trail this Sunday.
Who the fuck is this?
The wheels on the bus go round Denver.
Please tell me who you are. I had received information from Susan that she hadn't been on M's profile since the week of her death. M knew of a lot of people, so I thought it was one of her tech-savvy friends fucking with me in the worst possible way. I can't read what those are.
It's described in the next paragraph.
Oh, okay. Around February 2014, Emily started tagging herself in my photos. I would get notifications for them, but normally they'd be removed by the time I got to the picture. The first time I actually caught one, it felt like someone had punched me in the gut. She would tag herself in spaces where it was plausible for her to be, or where she'd usually hang out. I've got screenshots of the two from April and June. These are the only ones I've been able to catch, so they're a little...
And for people who can't see it, it's a picture of that. So it's like a selfie that he took of himself, with his face as far to the side as possible, so that it's clearly just a shot of behind him, and there's a small little tag square.
Yeah, there's the next one is him sitting on a couch, and the space on the couch
But
next to
also,
him.
yeah, he's also very far to the right that no one would take a picture of.
But the space next to the couch is empty, though it looks like a face has been tagged there.
Yeah.
God, remember Facebook?
No.
Okay. Around this time, I began to lose sleep. I was too angry to sleep. She would tag herself in random... Oh, I'm so fucking mad at my dead girlfriend! She would tag herself in random photos every couple of weeks. The friends who had noticed thought it was some fucked up bug. I found out recently that there had even been friends who have noticed and didn't say anything about it. Some of them even removed me from their Facebook friends list. I'm losing Facebook friends over this.
Man, I used to be popular before my girlfriend died.
And now people think I did it! At this point, you may be wondering, why didn't you just kill your Facebook profile?
I wouldn't. That is not how you... That's not what it's called. You don't kill it.
You don't kill it. Also, why kill yours? Kill hers!
Yeah.
She's already dead, who cares?
Also, she tagged herself in random photos every couple of weeks, but I'm still posting them.
I almost wish I did. I did for a little while. On days when I can't get out there, it's nice to have friends to chat with. It's nice visiting M's page when the little green dot isn't next to her name. I was already socially reclusive when M was alive. Her death turned me into something pretty close to a hermit. And Facebook and MMOs are my only real social outlets.
And Activision's a piece of shit, so I'm not playing World of Warcraft, I tell you what.
Alright, March 15th, 2014.
Sorry about this calendar. March 15th.
I sent what I assumed was M's hacker a message. And I said to her, why are you doing this? Why do you keep tagging her? On March 25th, I got an answer.
Hello? 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 Hello?
This is actually devastating. I don't know why you enjoy doing this.
All I got sent is sending candles.
Go to hell.
Why are you doing this? Hello?
Hello? Hello? It wasn't until a few months after going through these chats that I discovered she was recycling my own words as well. My response seems kind of lackluster here. I was intentionally providing her/him/them with emotional bait.
Watch it.
This is actually devastating. Wait. To keep them interested in their game. I was working off the assumption that the kind of person who would do this is the kind of person that thrives off of the distress of others. I was posting in tech forums trying to find a way to this person, contacting Facebook. I need to get them around to gather the evidence. I had even changed the password and security details several times. On April 16th, 2014, I received this.
We should make our own jam. Jesus fucking Christ, Samantha. Nah, different. No chance of passing. No chance of passing. How many? Garage side door. Side. Hell. No chance of passing. Baked beans on toast. I don't know. I just said, yo, ask Nathan. 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 Nathan.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know how you're still doing this. Please stop.
Please stop. I don't know what's happening.
Baked beans on toast!
Baked beans on toast.
I hadn't discovered any leads. Facebook had told me the locations of her page had been... Wait. The locations her page had been accessed from. But since her death, they're all places I can account for. My response here wasn't bait. Yo ass Nathan was an inside joke that's too lame worth explaining. But seeing her say it again was absolutely fucking crippling. My reaction in real life was much less prettier. Her last few messages have started to scare me, but I won't admit until this point. May 8th, 2014. I don't even have words for this.
Minus 12? Minus 15. My jumper's in the dryer and it's really cold out. I guess we're British.
Oh well.
Really cold out. Cold. Cold. Nathan. Please stop. Cold. Freezing. I don't know what's happening.
Freezing is the first original word she's said. This has given me nightmares that just won't end. I keep dreaming that she's in an ice-cold car, frozen, blue and gray. I'm standing outside the car door in the warmth, screaming for her to come out. She doesn't even realize I'm there. Sometimes her legs are outside with me. May 24th, 2014. I'm really drunk. I miss you. Whoever's on this account, I don't give a fuck. I keep coming home from work and expecting to see you at the computer. Shouldn't I be used to that by now?
Let's let me walk.
You see, I wasn't really drunk.
Baked beans.
I bamboozled her. Em wasn't an affectionate girl. And it was always embarrassed her to exchange I love yous. Fuck, I hate how this guy writes. To exchange I love yous, cuddles, talk about how much we meant to each other. She was more comfortable with it when I was drunk. I pretended to be drunk a lot. That's not great, bestie.
Yeah, that's not great.
Her reply is what prompted me to finally memorialize her page, thinking I might put an end to this. It might seem innocuous to her previous message. It's from an old conversation where I was trying to convince her to let me drive home from a friend's house. In the collision, the dashboard crushed her. She was severed in a diagonal line from her right hip to midway down her left thigh. One of her legs was found tucked under the back seat. And then in the message, Gray Street somewhere. Hey, you on the way home? Emily? When you see this message, please ring me. Straight away. I rang redacted and they said you left at 4. I'm starting to panic. I feel sick in my stomach. Please ring me. Emily? Emily! Answer your phone! August 7th, 2012. Going back in time. These are the messages I sent her the day she died. She's usually home by 4:30. This, alongside with a couple of voicemails, is the last time I talked to her under the assumption that she was still alive. You'll see why I'm showing you these soon. July 1st, 2014. I got these messages yesterday.
Hey, you on your way home? Emily, when you see this message, please ring me. Straight away. Please stop. I rang, and they said you left at 5. I'm starting to panic. Please stop. Cold. Emily, answer your phone. Don't know what's happening. Cold. Freezing.
I memorialized her page a few days later after the messages about walking. Until today, she'd been quiet. She hadn't even been tagging herself in my photos. I don't know what to do anymore. Do I kill her profile? What if it's her? I feel like I want to puke. I don't know what's happening. I just got the notification. I heard the sound alert. I'm just too afraid to swap windows and check it. Check it! I checked the alert.
Check it.
I heard it as I was compiling all this together. This was the message.
Freezing.
And it's a picture of a door. That's my door. That's my computer. I got the message 3 hours ago, but I didn't check it until now. Now I'm legitimately scared. Now I'm legit scared, guys!
Oh my gosh, let me just write down an entire creepypasta.
I have no idea who took this photo. I'm on my tablet in my garage. Zen for now. Going to drive to a friend's. Forgot to open the garage door in my panic, so I'm building up the nerve to get out and do that now. It ends there. I'm not sure if there's a part 2 or something, but...
This comment says, I remember when this was originally posted on Reddit. Part of the story's missing here. He was replying to comments for a bit, and then he started recycling his and others' comments. Can't believe it took me long to realize he sat in that garage trying to get the courage to get out of his car until he gassed himself.
Oh.
Which doesn't really work for a...
Yeah, especially if
it's
he's
not as
writing
great
it
of an
from
ending.
his own perspective. Alright, let's assume the ending is he gassed himself to death. But we don't read that part, because that would be dumb if he wrote it himself. The end.
And
I hated that one.
yeah, it's a pretty simple like scare of like, oh god, I don't even know. What if they're talking to me from beyond the grave? And like, okay.
I like that idea of a scare. If like you know someone who's died, and if you get a message from them after, like that would be kind of fucking scary. Like I know people that I went to high school with that have passed away and stuff, and I knew them and stuff, and if they just kind of, and like their Facebook profiles are still up for some reason, and if I just got a message from them, I'd be like, I'd shit my pants. But like nobody knows how to write these properly.
No, that's the problem. It's tricky.
Like, good concept, just not. I do like the actual text conversations themselves.
Yeah, that's fun.
Just her just recycling shit that they've talked about.
That's an interesting thing to be like, hey, here's what...
Baked beans on toast.
Baked beans on toast. Definitely a bit of a mood ruiner. Got that kind of exorcist energy of like, that's not... Why did they say that? What the fuck?
It's trying to communicate. What's it saying? Baked beans on toast. What?
Oh, well.
Oh,
I had baked beans on toast for that day for dinner. Now I'm really scared, guys.
Now I'm frightened and sad. Good shit.
Good stuff. And I should look through my Edward Gorey books for some poems, because they're fun. Are you familiar with the works of Edward Gorey?
I am not.
He does these little illustrations in, like, black pen. And they're... I don't know how old they are. Okay, he was alive from 1925 to 2000 apparently. So, but
Wait,
they're
what?
kind of he was alive. He died in 2000. That's pretty. They're not that old, but
1925?
he was born in 1925.
Oh,
he
I
died
thought
in 2000.
I thought you were like he
Yeah.
was writing stuff from 1925 to 2000. I'm like, how?
His first poems were garbage because he couldn't write yet.
Because he was a little baby.
But they're kind of Victorian in nature. They seem very Victorian, but and they got these creepy little illustrations. Then he writes poems underneath them usually.
Ooh.
He does these little limericks like these. I'll give you a couple. There was a young curate whose brain was deranged from the use of cocaine. He lured a small child into a copse dark and wild, where he beat it to death with his cane. And you're just like, cool,
What?
great. And it's just got these little like hand-drawn pen and ink, scratchy drawings above them, and you're just like,
Cool,
They're super
Edward.
cute. They're a lot of fun.
Thanks.
Each night, Father fills me with dread when he sits at the foot of my bed. I'd not mind that he speaks and gibbers and squeaks, but for 17 years he's been dead. Just like they're fun. They're kind of creepy, and you're just like you just come out the other side like.
Okay. Thanks, Edward.
He's cool. His drawings are fantastic. I love them.
Ooh.
Let me see if there's another one in this little list. Ba-ba-ba-ba. The sight of his guests filled Lord Cray at breakfast with a horrid dismay. So he launched off the spoons, the pits from his prunes, at their head as they neared the buffet.
What?
Just fun. He's just flicking prune pits at them. Like they're not all terrible, but like this is just how it is.
Huh. Beautiful.
Was a young woman who's... Oh no, I'm not reading that one. Never mind.
That was a young man from Nantucket.
Who's... See, they never finish it in the cartoon.
Alright, should we keep reading?
We could maybe do one more, but maybe we'll call it at 7.
Sure. 7-ish.
What is our last? Oh, I did want to read this short one very quickly.
Sure.
One of the lower rated of the creepypasta.org ones.
Alright, let's
It's
go.
called The Forgotten Vending Machine. And it's another one of those kind of ritual-y sort of things. There's a village somewhere in England that has not been inhabited for over 20 years. It has long since been forgotten off most maps, and only has one road in and out of it. If you manage to find it, it will seem a peaceful enough place. The derelict buildings being overgrown and nature taking back the land for herself. However, somewhere within the village is a vending machine which still has power. It will still have its original look and sell ordinary brands of drink, though with 20-year-old packaging. The one at the bottom will be marked E. Pay only in 10-pound pieces to buy this drink. Probably 10 pence, sorry about that. It just said 10p.
10p.
I'm not British, I'm sorry. Before drinking this mysterious beverage, peer inside the can to check its color. Do not try to pour some out. It will refuse to leave the can, despite any vigorous shaking you may attempt. If it's green in color, drink heartily, as it will give you an unnaturally long lifespan and good luck in everything you do. If it is red, however, drinking it will spread a horrific pestilence over you, claiming one of your senses every 10 years after the date you first imbibed.
Just like Mountain Dew Code Red.
Exactly like Mountain Dew Code Red. Use the code.
This stream is sponsored by Mountain Dew!
Oh boy.
Go on.
That's it. No, that's it.
Oh!
You will lose all of your senses one by one until you're dead. The end. Goodbye.
You're presented with 2 drinks, Mountain Dew and Mountain Dew Code Red. Just drink the normal Mountain Dew!
If you drink the red Mountain Dew, the story ends. You lose one of your senses every single day. If you drink the blue Mountain Dew, you get a parasite.
It was Baja Blast that gave me the virus.
It sure was.
Oh no, is the sponsor stream the whole time? Hell yeah, it
That's
is!
the scary twist of this movie.
No!
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh!
Very scary.
Alright, should we... What should our last one be?
What should our last one be?
Do you have a longer one?
Got a couple. Let's see. This one's a bit longer.
Should we take
This one's
yours?
just called... Sure. This one's just called Hands. So that's pretty great.
I like hands.
Hands are nice.
Hands
I got
are
a few of
nice.
those.
Did you pre-read this one?
No.
Okay. You start.
There's one... Okay, yeah. There's one part that I'm going to censor because it's stupid. But...
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. The worst thing I've ever done in my life happened about 12 years ago when I was a 16-year-old kid living in Cleveland, Ohio. This is an Ohio accent. It was the early fall when the leaves were just starting to turn orange and the temperatures were starting to fall, hinting at the freezing chill. It was only a few months away.
Oh, accent's gone.
Yeah, no, it's still there.
Oh.
It's just a little more subdued now, you see?
Ah.
School had just started, but it had been going on for about a month now, so all the excitement of going back and reuniting with old friends had been replaced by the realization that we were captives in a place that only wanted to load work upon us. Understandably, me and my friends were all eager to do anything that might remind us of the worry-free, responsibility-free days of summer.
Earlier that year, about the time the last school year had let out, one of my friends from work, McDonald's, which some people think is lame, but I always had a great time there, had taught me a technique to make yourself pass out with the help of an assistant. What? To help yourself pass out with the help of an assistant. It works something like this. One person would rapidly take 10 deep, heavy breaths. And on the 10th, squeeze his eyes shut and hold his breath as tight as possible when crossing his wrist over his heart. The assistant would then give a person a huge bear hug from behind and squeeze the person's wrist into his breastbone. Within seconds, the person holding their breath would lose consciousness. Why are we playing this game? I don't fucking know. Anyway, the assistant was then...
What's he gonna do at McDonald's? Fuck off.
It was a very slow day at McDonald's, let me tell you. Anyway, the assistant was then in a perfect position to make sure you didn't totally collapse and crack your skull open on the sidewalk. The effect only lasted for like a second or two. It wasn't like you were putting yourselves into comas or anything. I'm not that crazy. Anyway, but it felt like you had been out for hours. And when you came to, the disoriented feeling of not knowing where the hell you were and what you were doing there was awesome.
You ever seen Flatliners? Yeah, it's Flatliners.
It's Flatliners.
Now, I know some people are like, what, you crazy? What are you doing? Fuck off. And yeah, I know, we were probably killing about 1 million brain cells each time we'd knock ourselves out. And I think probably my memory suffered for it. What was I talking about? But to a bored as hell 16-year-old, clearly from fucking Ohio up in here, I thought it was hella cool. Hella all the
cool.
effect of getting your lights punched out with none of the pain of getting hit in the face. I tell you to try it to see for yourself, but whew, after what happened to me, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
That's why I told you exactly how to fucking do it.
This is the perfect story for these accents so far, though. This is written exactly like this. I love it.
One interesting side effect of doing this, which is really most of the reason we did it, was that while you were out, you'd have an extremely lucid, vivid dreams, which you could always recall upon waking. After all, you were only asleep for like 2 seconds.
2 fucking seconds.
2 fucking seconds, you know how it is. Anyway, we were good kids! Despite knocking each other out constantly. And then
Other than this, we're the greatest.
Sir.
Come on.
Sir?
Hey, oh, sir.
Sir!
Fuck
Anyway,
you.
we were good kids and had never, and would never, try drugs. Which maybe you should if you're just... Anyway. So to us, this was like the poor man's LSD.
We're just gonna say, this was a lot cheaper, though.
Here in Ohio, they didn't fucking sell hallucinogens, so we had to get creative. Anyway, these visions.
You want to spend nearly like hundreds of dollars on a little tiny drug, last you a few days, or you want to just get knocked out behind the McDonald's for a couple seconds? Come on.
Get knocked out with your buddy at McDonald's.
Just me and you hugging you from behind.
Just give me a big old bear hug. Anyway, we were good kids. These visions, in some way, were usually related to what you were looking at right before you passed out. For example, I once dreamed that I was climbing a mountain way up in the Himalayas or some shit, but but there was a handrail there. Well, the hell puts the handrails at 20,000 feet? When I came... What?
I love the way this is written. Okay, keep going.
When I came to and remembered where I was, I had been looking at a staircase at the corner of my girlfriend's living room. Another time, I had a vision of Fred Flintstone smiling, holding out his hand in front of a mirror with the DARE logo. That's drug abuse and resistance education, a program cops teach in public schools. You've probably seen the bumper stickers. I woke and saw my friend Brett had been standing in front of me, and right before I slipped into dreamland. And he looks just like Fred Flintstone. No, and that logo was there on his shirt. Where Fred Flintstone came from, I have no fucking idea.
It sounds like Tim Roth's big speech in Reservoir Dogs. He's just practicing over and over again. The vision's always mundane things like that, always, until one day.
You can read the next one, that was short.
Like I said, school had been going on for about a month, and we were already sick of it. We were hanging out one Saturday in the field, quote-unquote the field, which is really an easement for the electric company.
Which we cleverly nicknamed ourselves, the field.
A field. It was a field. It was really an easement for the electric company to run the high-voltage lines. So I guess we were in fucking danger and trespassing. But we're good kids,
We're good kids. We didn't do drugs, so that made us good kids.
We didn't do drugs. Anyway, a few of us were sitting on the metal beams at the bottom of one of the towers, which is fucking illegal as shit and dangerous.
Can I pause for a second? I just noticed that one kid was wearing a DARE shirt.
Yeah. I would love a DARE shirt.
Did they give away DARE shirts, or like was that
Probably.
popular? Because I
bet you it's also
I thought kids fucking hated DARE.
I bet you it's also a thing that people are nostalgic for, especially if you didn't have to go through it.
I guess so.
Yeah. I bet you that's a current. You could buy that shirt at like Forever 21 or whatever.
I guess so.
All their Pepsi shit.
Okay. Anyway.
Friend Mike's climbing up the second tier beam so we could jump the 8 or 10 feet to the ground. I thought it was stupid, but hey, I'm the guy who thought it was cool to induce unconsciousness by starving my brain of oxygen. So fuck me, I guess.
It was a warm day for October, but the light gray of the sky was slowly getting darker. And in Cleveland, because we're in Ohio, remember, with my accent.
Fucking Cleveland up in it.
In October, that probably meant that before long, the temperature would soon drop to a comfortable 70 to about 50 in the course of a few minutes. And
that's fucking Fahrenheit for your kids at home.
Yeah, I don't know what Fahrenheit is, so one can assume that's fucking cold, but I don't fucking care. Anyway, and if we were really unlucky, an ice-cold rain would start to fall. The air was already damp and heavy, and we could hear the quiet buzzing of the high-tension wires above us, because we're sitting under a fucking electrical tower, because we're good kids.
We're good kids, obviously. And I sure as hell didn't want to spend the last few moments of a pleasant Saturday afternoon watching some dumbass climb partway up the high-tension tower, jump down, complain about how that one killed my feet, only to climb up and do the exact same stupid thing all over again. Fuck that.
Hey! Let's make ourselves pass out, I said.
Oh.
Hey, motherfucker, I want to pass out right fucking now, right under this electrical tower. Give it to me straight. Come on, give me a bear hug from behind, Mikey.
You know what would make this moment a lot better if I was fucking unconscious. Knock me out, boys.
Punch me in the face.
I want you to hit me as hard as you can, so I pass out.
Anyway, hey, let's make ourselves pass out, I said. By that time, it wasn't as much fun as it had been in the earliest summer when we just discovered it. But it was a hell of a lot better than what we were doing. Vince was up for it. So was Richie. But Mike, the guy jumping off the tower, said, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Holy crap, you haven't been knocked out before? Vince asked. That's what he sounds like. No, was the response. Mike had been at his mom's house all summer, so we hadn't been in on all the fun we'd been having.
Dude, you gotta try this. Watch, we'll show you. You can read.
Yeah, you can take the next one.
Oh, okay. Vince and I got off the tower and stood in the grass at the center. I did the customary 10 deep breaths. I squeezed my eyes shut and held my breath so hard that if they hadn't been shut, they probably popped out of my fucking head. Then I felt if my friend clamped down on my arms and my front chest, and suddenly, as if there were nothing more natural in the world, there was a giant lobster climbing around a lobster cage, and I was under the ocean with seaweed growing from the sandy bottom under my feet.
Next thing I remember, I was awake. And Vince and Richard asking me, "Dude, what did you see? What did you dream?" Back of my head's killing me.
Fuck, did you let me fall? I wasn't really that heavy, but Vince is pretty weak. He just stood there looking guilty, and Richard told me he had. "What'd you see, though?" he asked.
Rubbed my head and said it was a lobster. I was pinching Vince's head off with its claws.
I turned to
Fuck
Mike.
you, Vince.
Fucking Vince, you fucking bastard, let me fall down. I trusted you with one fucking thing, Vince, and you let me bang my poor head on the ground.
Tell you what, the family's gonna hear about this.
You know what? I got a
The Cleveland Mafia.
I got a sensitive head, and you can't just drop me on it like that. Anyway, pinching Vince off. Okay, I turned to Mike, watching from that L-shaped beams up above, and said, "See, it's fucking awesome."
Doesn't look that awesome. I don't trust any here to do that shit with me.
Come on, man, you gotta try it. It's no more dangerous than what you're doing now. I promise I won't let you fall like this fucking bitch did.
Pointed at his eyes in the way people do when they're trying to decide if what they're thinking of doing is worth the risk of trouble. Jumped down one last time, got up and said, "Fine, once."
If only I'd have a thought a little longer, or just flatly refused.
He repeated the 10 deep breaths, with me as the assistant to make sure I didn't fall. He held his breath, and I helped him slip into that other place. It's something I've regretted ever since. That, when I think back all the things I wish I'd done differently in my teenage years. Girls I should have tried for, classes I should have tried harder in. All the things I should and shouldn't have done. Putting him in that bear hug and squeezing him into unconsciousness is the thing I most regret.
I felt the dead weight shift from his feet onto my chest. He was a pretty big guy, but I made sure to let him fall down easily and not knock his head under the hard-packed earth. Just as I laid him on the grass, he came back.
He woke up, screaming. Take it.
Oh. Fuck! Holy fuck! Get away from me! Get away! Get away! He screamed as he leaped up from his feet and he flailed his arms around his head. We all jumped back, afraid of being hit in his frenzy, but more afraid, so scared we almost shit our pants of what we were seeing.
About 5 seconds, which is about twice the time it normally takes a person to realize where they're at and remember what they're doing. He slowed down. Shit, holy shit. He was breathing heavily, gasping deep breaths, and hunched over at the corner of the tower. It's a wonder that in his maddened state he didn't run right into the supports and knock himself out for real. But he just stood there, bent over at the waist, then fell to his knees. With his back turned to us, he started rocking and wringing his hands and muttering to himself.
Holy mother of fuck, said Vince. What the hell did you see? But Mike didn't answer. We approached him slowly. As we drew near, we could hear him quietly sobbing. What a bitch. In our macho world, that was normally a crime punishable by death. But at the time, of course, we didn't say a word. I reached a hand to his shoulder, but as soon as I touched him, a touch so tentative and light that he shouldn't even been able to feel it, he shrieked and jumped away, clanging his back into the corner of the tower. He pressed up hard against it, staring at us with a look of terror in his eyes so real, you'd thought we were demons from the pits of heck.
Heck. Fucking bitch up in here thinks we're from heck.
That'd be funny.
If ever in those few moments I thought that he was putting on to fuck with us, that look put all my doubts to rest. That, and what happened afterwards, of course. Oh.
You could read.
No, go for it.
None of us said anything, but after about 10 minutes, Mike had calmed down enough that Richard was able to coax him to his feet and lead him back to the house. As I suspected, the weatherman that I am, the temperature had fallen like crazy in just a few minutes, just as I figured it would, because I'm a smart boy. The freezing
Storm's coming in, I can feel it in my joints.
My right knee is starting to ache. I knew it was gonna rain. Anyway, as I figured, the freezing cold drizzled the freezing cold drizzle started to fall. I told Vince I was gonna go home and I'd see him tomorrow. We always spent the evenings and rainy days playing Mortal Kombat on our SNES.
Mortal fucking Kombat.
Blue Edition, but he didn't object. I think he probably wanted some time alone to reflect on the horrible thing we had done to our friend, just like I did.
Next day, I went to see how Mike was doing, but he and his friend were gone the whole day. I asked him later where he went, but he wouldn't tell me. I think I must have been to a...
Sorry, he and his dad.
Who? Pardon?
You said he and his friend. It's he and his dad.
Oh, sorry. I in my brain I said dad, but I guess I didn't. He and his dad, they were gone the whole day. I asked him later where they went, but he wouldn't tell me. I think it must have been to a psychiatrist, because by Tuesday, next time I saw him, he seemed to be better, for a little zoned out. I figure he got some drugs to calm his nerves, but that's just a guess. We're good kids. We don't do drugs. I never really found out. Over the next few days, 4 of us hung out, and while Mike was quiet, he didn't say anything about what happened. He just talked about stupid, unimportant stuff, girls we liked, classes at school we hated. I wish we had said something to him now, though I don't know if it really would have helped. We had no idea what we were facing. To this day, I still have no clue, but we had avoided the subject of what happened that Saturday, and the practice of passing out in general like it was the plague. The fucking plague.
It wasn't until the following Saturday night he said anything related to what's happened to him. We were walking down the quiet street of our neighborhood, towards the wooden footbridge that crossed the creek that runs between the houses, separating the development into 2 halves. I was going on about this hot girl who was a grade above me and who, consequently, wouldn't give me the time of day, and he, staring at the ground, walked with his hands in his pockets. Suddenly, out of nowhere, right in the middle of one of my sentences, he says, "I won't be around much longer."
The fuck?
They'll be coming again tonight, and I don't think I'll be able to keep him out this time.
Hey, what are you talking about? Who's coming tonight? Is it Joey Garbone? Huh?
The hands. The voices. At this point, I was
like...
Oh, you can go.
At this point, I was like, holy shit. I could feel my breathing get quick and shallow, and I felt my face and hands get hot to hear him talk. So matter-of-factly about some horror that I couldn't even imagine. But I'll never forget that conversation. It's etched in my mind like the stone tablets in the 10 fucking commandments.
'Cause we're good boys. We're good Christian
We're good boys. We're Christian boys. Catholics up in here.
I stammered a few times, then said stupidly, "What hands?"
At night, I look at the tree out my window, then it goes black into hands. Dozens, 100 of them push in against the glass.
And what do you fucking do?
I push back all night, but I'm tired. I can't keep them out anymore. The voices say I have to let them in. Little kid voices and little kid hands. He lowered his voice to a whisper, but I could tell in what he said next that he was struggling to keep the panic at bay. "Sometimes I see their faces," he said in a trembling voice.
We had come up to the walkway up to his house. He stopped and finally lifted his face to me. "Tell Vince he can have my Super Nintendo. He don't have one and his mom sure as hell won't buy him one. Richard can have my CDs. I know you guys don't like rap, but he does."
I started to say something, but he turned and walked up to his house. He went inside and closed the door. I wish I would have went up and knocked. Told him I would have stayed the night. We were 16, and that age guys didn't do that anymore. So I just went home. I didn't even answer the door for Vince when he came over later. When I went to bed, I didn't sleep well. was constantly listening to every creak and groan that the house made, listening for the voices of a multitude of children. I normally slept with the curtains open, but tonight, I closed them tight.
The next day, we learned someone had broken into Mike's house. A police car was there in his driveway, and I had shit a brick when I saw it. Later, my worst fears were confirmed when I learned that Mike's bedroom window had been broken into. He was missing, was all they told us. The cops had asked all three of us a ton of questions, and people from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children came and asked us more. I'm sure I looked guilty as shit, but when I said I didn't know what happened, it was, after all, halfway true. They were looking for some pervert that had abducted Mikey. So no matter how hard they grilled me, they couldn't get any information related to that, of course. So finally they gave up. He was on milk cartons and missing children TV shows, but to this day, his is still an unsolved case.
After it was all over, I went to the library to research what the fuck happened. Because in those days, while the internet was still like a research tool, it was only for rocket scientists or people who could afford 5,000 fucking simoleons on a computer. I didn't find much. Closest thing that I think is related to something I only discovered later. In my junior class on world history, apparently, Egyptian priests used to seal themselves in coffins for just long enough in time to almost die. They would then be resuscitated so they could relate the things they saw in the netherworld while dead to the other priests. I can only figure that perhaps the electricity in the air or the weather made Mike go deeper than we had ever had, and gave him an experience something like what the Egyptian priests had. But Vince had knocked me out too, in almost the same spot where Mike was standing when I did it to him. Could he have just been more receptive to the call of that other place? Had knocking my head on the ground somehow jostled me free of their hold? I don't know. I don't think I ever will, but sometimes it still makes me shiver. That's the best written one so far.
I really like that one.
That was great.
Yeah, that one was cool. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I think the accent we did helped, though.
I feel like it was written with those accents in mind, except for Ohio.
Yeah.
But it's totally got that Sopranos sort of like storytelling going on. Like me and Vince, we're talking to this guy. We're behind the McDonald's, and you know what the damn program was, right? Anyway. And I love that.
What if we just fucking pass out?
Hey, old man, let's knock each other out for a hot sec. Cool.
I know we're having fun out in this abandoned electrical grid field, but what if we just fucking pass out?
What if, though? You know, what if, though? What if?
The accent really enhanced the experience. Thank you.
Absolutely. That was great. I want to make an animation out of that story. That was fun.
Yeah, I liked it. That one was good.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose...
Thank y'all out there for joining us in these scary-ass woods for our scary-ass stories.
Yeah. We're just stuck on the accents now.
Fucking scary as shit.
Thanks for fucking joining our goddamn stream where we read some scary shit.
We'll see y'all later in the week for more scary shit. Well, probably not scary. We'll probably play golf or something. But you know what we mean.
Yeah.
Thanks, y'all, for joining us. We love you.
Ooh, hang on. I spelled the channel I want to read wrong.
Oh, yeah. Remember to follow, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, and if you're not already in our Discord, we will absolutely be doing this again sometime, so please send us more scary stories.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Alright. Discord, for any new people watching. And we're gonna go raid this channel Adrian likes. And yeah, bye.
Bye.